People, how you doing? Y'all, good afternoon. Uh, from everywhere. Good afternoon. Thanks for popping in here with me. Today is Friday. Beautiful Friday. The 28th of August, 2026. Friday, the 28th of August, 2026. You're welcome to the show. You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for joining us this afternoon to talk Liberia. Let's listen for a few minutes while you guys are coming in here.
My fellow Liberians, I come to you this evening to reaffirm a solemn commitment. This administration will enforce the law without fear or favor while protecting the constitutional rights of every person. Over the past several days, development in our country have sparked public discussion, concern, and in some cases, misinformation. As president, I believe it's my duty to speak directly to you, offer reassurances, and make clear that justice must be pursued firmly, fairly, and independently. When you entrusted me with the leadership of the country, you did so with a clear expectation that I would uphold the Constitution, govern with integrity, strengthen our institutions, and ensure that no one is above the law. Liberia faces serious challenges, but we are making deliberate progress toward the arrest agenda for inclusive development. Yet, none of our work in the economy, education, infrastructure, or public institutions cannot succeed unless it is anchored in the fundamental principle, the rule of law.
The president is absolutely right. Liberia cannot succeed unless and until the fundamental principles that we ascribe to our republic, they are anchored firmly in the rule of law. Basically, we cannot move forward if the rule of law is not enforced and people want the rule of law to be selective as it favors them. The president says no. He says there will be no sacred cows, and he is stuck to his guns. And the president will continue to remind people, the expectation in our country that people are going to make noise. We expect that. We expect that, but every once in a while, we will remind people what the president said. And for me, I will continue to hold the president to this until he breaks it. And so far, he is held firm to his beliefs. The president said, I will go after anyone who is destroying our country. Whether you are my friend, my son, my wife, or any other or another relative, if you break the laws of the country, I will hold you accountable. Joseph Yoman Boakai is quoted as saying, there should be no sacred cows in Liberia, and the noisemakers that are out there who believe that we should leave things undone because we've never enforced the law before. Those are the kind of people that should have no place in public life in Liberia because they don't know what they're talking about. You cannot leave it. And the argument, because it was not done during Ellen's time, it was not done during Joia's time, it doesn't mean it's not going to be done under President Baka administration. Every single person, like the president said, he swore an oath to the Republic of Liberia and to the future of Liberia's children. He will stand firmly by the future of this country. He is not governing for the next elections because the president believes that the next election will always take care of themselves if you take care of the people. So the president focus is to take care of the people and to ensure the next generation is taken care of. And I think this should be the responsibility of any responsible leader. Exactly what the president is doing. I'm going to continue to welcome you guys, man. Yeah, come on in here. Today is Friday. Like I said, the 28th of August, 2026. Martha Doki, how are you doing? Lawrence Momodo Benson, my brother Dolo Dolo is here. Thank you so much, Jebe Bakana. Ala Caldwell, Jebe, how you doing? Elias Okali, Mr. Okali, welcome to the show, man. My brother Thomas Owaji, out of Atlanta, Georgia. Liberia must get better. You know, it's like you're swimming upriver. And for a very long time you swim, and you can barely push forward. And then luckily you catch that perfect wave, and then it pushes you forward. And then you got people that are pulling your legs to get you out of that perfect wave that is pushing you forward. We now have to hold firmly to the forward push of that wave, because there are certain people in the country who believe if that wave pushes you farther away from the vices that have destroyed this country, they can no longer exploit the country the way they have done in the past. This is why you hear all the noise in the country. But we're going to say to them, you would not succeed. Liberia will cross this threshold. And this wilderness that we have been in for so long, for almost 180 years, we must leave this wilderness and walk towards modernity and improve the conditions of our country. This is a task that this president is on, and we will continue to rally around the president so he can deliver to the least amongst us. Again, David Shine, Socrates, welcome to the show, my brother. Yes, let's congratulate the Justice Ministry. The government won every single petition prayed for at the Supreme Court. Those in favor and against the government won every single one of them. It is a big shout out to the Justice Ministry, especially to the Attorney General of the Republic of Liberia, Councillor Oswald Twe, for work well done. Well done. And this is a big deal. Liberia marches ahead. Cynthia Ma, my brother Dwana is here. Femi Masakwe is also here. Charles Bidell. Mr. Bidell is out of Trenton, New Jersey. How are you doing? Priscilla Clinton out of Morrisville, Pennsylvania. Jerry Boykai is also in class. Jerry, welcome. Welcome. How are Evelyn Golakai? Mana Golakai, how are you doing? Look, people will cause the noise. And for me, I love the noise. And I love what last thing the former U.S. Congressman out of the state of Georgia that was on the Pettus Bridge during the Selma March. I think his name was John. I forgot the guy's name. I can't believe I forgot his name. Oh my God. The former U.S. Congressman out of the great state of Georgia, the march over the Pettus Bridge. He was a congressman for a very long time. He was a civil rights activist. He said, make good noise. Okay. And I think what is happening in Liberia right now is good noise. We got to make good noise. And a noise that pushes this country forward. For me, it is good noise. My brother Mohammed Rogers, how are you doing, sir? Thank you for popping in here with us. Thank you. So, John Lewis, thank you, Howard. John Lewis, absolutely. John Lewis, with the MS Pettus Bridge up in Birmingham, Montgomery, I love Birmingham, I think it was in Birmingham. They did a march over that bridge. He said, make good noise. And good noise is good for Liberia. We will make good noise to elevate this country. Let me tell you something. President Baka one alone cannot, under any circumstance, develop this country. The population themselves must force the issue for this country to transform. You know, once in a while, we will remind Liberian people the place we're coming from. We will remind Liberian people, yo, look, the road are going to Grand Crew. What's now they're talking about? They say today, yo, look at the guy Joe, we are saying, holding state. Yo, look at him. Now
let's make sure you do that same information you can hold.
That Grand Crew County road over there, that Grand Judah road that you're looking at over there. As soon as the Papi finish that road, somebody will come say that my project. This is how they were crossing on that road, shamelessly crossing that road. Wow, what people were suffering in the Southeast. You know what President Baka has done? President Baka said, you know what wrong? Our people in the southeast will suffer no more. We will ease their burdens in the southeastern portion of Liberia. We would take to our people the proper machines to clear their path. But look at what going to Grand Crew. But look at what going to Sano. But look at what going
This is Grand Crew Hall on television. Gunta City, Member County. So the government yellow machine is heading for River G, Maryland, and Dallas Grand Crew County. What 12 pieces is destined for Grand Crew County, as we have been reliably informed.
It's not a finished Grand Crew role. Somebody will come and say that my project, because one time I toast steak and I walk in the mud there than my project. But let me tell you something, the people of Grand Crew County got sin more than you ever know. In fact, some of the smartest Liberians there from the southeastern portion, let me make fun of my southeastern for a second. I used to have a few teachers in grade school. They were from the southeast. We didn't know about southeast then. They can all put two ink in their pocket, one red, one blue. And then they're marking people by way. That's how people from the Grand Crew, they're brilliant minds. So you're not going to tell them otherwise to know who did a job for them. An opportunity was given to a man. How did we make this colossal mistake? To take this country and give it to this person every single day. This is mind-boggling at times to fully understand and to think that we gave this country to a neophyte. Gave this country 6 consecutive years. And then somebody will come stand by and say, oh, a man coming back. Where's how he coming back? In fact, that former situation remind us what happened in our country and what he would never do again.
For me to support I prefer to support my puppy to my house that says, whoop, whoop, whoop. For me to support God forbid. Can be president here. Can't look at PAP to say PAP that is tolerant to what CDC. So, Thomas Fala is tolerant to CDC too. You think the politics in this country is a joke, yeah? Who told you people that, look, the CDC died perpetually. Joe, we are. That name died. But challenge you now, who can go and stand for Joe to put your head away to win this trade? They will beat you.
Yeah, the market door, and I would say this: the way my people in River says, suffer. I remember a long time ago, we are going into Sesto. It must have been 1984. 1984, I'm around 6 years old, maybe almost 7 years old. And I still see the hills going to River Cess. And during those days, you got to get out of the car because the car has to go uphill. I still remember my mom putting me on the back to climb. Our people have suffered in the southeast. We are suffering. That's why sometimes we get mad when somebody can tell us, say, the progress that is being made should be reversed because somebody more counter power so they can finish their whole. How about the people in Mowe? How about the people in Giata? Way out there. How about the people in Sesto? Go to Banima County, go see in Blood Yala. Papa Tapeta, you go deep into the heart of Mama Jide. Enter Grand Crew and River G and Fishtown. Our people were entirely isolated from their capital city, especially during the rainy season. We must bring a relatively high degree of civility to our people in the southeastern portion of Liberia. They too deserve the presence of their government. This is not a joking matter. We've been stuck in no place for so long, and then somebody will look at this republic until you say we must go back. I want to tell people today, I just posted on my Facebook page. I never thought in my wildest dream that I would be alive to see this. Some people think, oh, it's just small thing. No, it's incrementally large. That may God be so kind to this country, and may Liberia touch the heavens. May we see our beloved Liberia develop in our lifetime. May we see this. May we see this. I know President Bwaka cannot do all during his 12-year tenure. If God is so gracious to this country, we will take it from there and we carry it from. The institutions are going to be built. The judiciary will be strengthened. The government institutions are going to be checked and balanced against our constitution, so we can really develop a location that we can be proud of in Foya, in Bopolu City, in Fonjima, in Tottenbury, in Robertsport, and the length and breadth of our country, in Banga, in Kakata, in Wiala, in Totota. We must bring modernity to our people. Sometimes people think we just talk because we want to talk, but I want you to, and whenever you go to Liberia, if you were born and raised in Liberia and you only been in Monrovia, I want you to take a car pay. You're not paying $20,000 anymore like back in the days. You will pay only $5,000 now. I want you to go to the heart of Liberia and see how backward we are. This is why we can no longer pussyfoot around and give this country to men and women who do not understand what it takes to take us to the modern era. We must forge ahead. And for me, anything that will live Liberia, I'm all for it. You know, sometimes it's only fitting that these reminders are brought to our people. The Capitol building of the Republic of Liberia was set ablaze by disgruntled men because they did not get their way. They were like pesky children. Don't watch your Capitol building.
Is it going? Yes. On he goes. Where does he go? Unto jail he goes.
We, for me, and I will continue to remind Liberian people, you open your ears every single time. Every single time you feel sorry for somebody who is guilty of a crime against our republic, you too are pulling our legs back from moving forward. You are a criminal. In my book, the Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia said, Liberia's Supreme Court has rejected a petition seeking to stop an ongoing Capitol building arson case, ruling that the defendant used the wrong legal remedy. The government, the Supreme Court has denied the petition. The Supreme Court said, no, the case will go on. We will determine who burned our Capitol building down. This is our building. We paid for this building. The court said the proper remedy was sanctuary, not prohibition, to challenge the trial judge's decision to disband the jury and order a new trial. If you don't do it, why you want to check out the whole thing? And I'm going to say this to my brother Martin. I'm in Melvin Cole, out of Bond County. I'm going to ask this question when Councilor Mann comes here today, and I want to understand something. How often does the court postpone proceedings? Martin Melvin Cole posted this on his Facebook page. He said, hearing in the Jewel Howard Taylor case rescheduled just because they want to keep her in that dirty place. That now you know, so be dirty. Imagine a state woman jail in a regular cell. I was also poor in your hall. Wickedness in her at the highest level. But it's good for the goose. It's good for the gander. South Beach is South Beach. Postponement of cases in our country is normal practice. And by the way, there is a coincidence. According to them, the God will be coming in the country on the 2nd of September. That the same day she go into court. Let's see who the citizens will prioritize. I like to go to the airport. If our running the airport. I would make sure nobody crosses that roundabout. Everybody stays beyond that roundabout. When your goal come out before you can get him to come all the way over there. Nobody gonna crowd the airport. I would not allow it because we cannot trust that you're going to be civil. We spend millions, tens of millions of dollars to build the airport. We cannot have people destroying that airport. And I hope the security apparatus of our country is taking every necessary precaution to prevent anything that will happen. And I'm going to also say this, the Supreme Court of Liberia, this is our capital building. I already put that up there. And I think the Supreme Court of Liberia too had a reversal. We said this yesterday. I mean, every single case, the government won them. Every single case. Supreme Court of Liberia has ordered the incarceration of former officials of the Forestry Development Authority, FDA, and the Ministry of Mines and Energy to 1 year in prison for defrauding the government of Liberia in an economic sabotage case. Those all are incarcerated. We read a name here yesterday. Obviously, they're going to repay $10,000 back to the government and spend 1 year in jail. And additionally, there was a reversal from the Associate Justice. Chief Justice, His Honor Yami Kwekwe Bese Senior, said yesterday's judgment mandating Mr. Cully and William to pay $50,000 each to appellate Wilmot Smith, former Deputy Director General for Information Coordination at the Liberia Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services, was an inadvertent error on the part of the full bench of the Honorable Supreme Court of Liberia. Chief Bese, Justice Bese Senior, explained that the two men were brought under the jurisdiction of the lower court from which their appeal emanated, and as such judgment from the Supreme Court should not affect them. So there has been a reversal of Martin Cully's request to pay $50,000, and I think that's fair. I don't think Martin should be paying that money, given what transpired when they posted something. Look, there is a video, a recording out there from Sheikh Bashiru Conte. I can't play the recording because it got a few cuss words in it, so I cannot play that. And the recording, but what we're hearing, another guys accusing Bashiri as the person who rat out Madam Joy Howard Taylor. Bashiri, the guy who's looking at on the screen right now, they say, my man, did you snitch on the woman? Did you wear recording? I actually listened to the whole video. It's actually on social media. You can go check it out. We can't play it here because they're cussing in it. They're saying, well, he said, no, I never did that. In fact, Liberia is not sophisticated enough to have any kind of what you call the recording device. I don't know where he gets that belief from. And so for me, I'm not going to say anything on social media. If I had that kind of money, I won't even be. I would be in Russia. So the full recording is out there. And now, if you love it, you think so, you think so. Let me tell you something. Madam Joy Howard Taylor case has been postponed to the 2nd of September, which is normal practice in the Republic of Liberia. So people must start lying out there, say the case was postponed because they want to stay in the jail. Or nobody want to stay in jail. If she makes bail, she makes bail. But Liberia got to go in front. One of the things I don't want us to do is to continue to believe that Liberia's well-being must be secondary or subordinated to the well-being of big people in the country. Let me talk it the other way. If people were thinking Liberia for Liberia to be good, Liberia not good, will go beyond, and only big people will not good, will go in front. So those people don't belong in any kind of public space in Liberia because they don't understand the well-being of our collective well-being must take precedence every single time over an individual. Let me say this again. All of our well-being, our collective well-being, is far way more important than one individual person's well-being. That's what the Constitution says. And that should be common sense. So all 6 million of us, our interest cannot be subordinated, cannot be made secondary to an individual interest. If whatever interest favors the state has to take precedence over everybody else. So we need to stop this thing of big menism in Liberia, where we believe women will be waiting for. Look, we all know what's happening in the country. They still got people in the country making drugs out of our country now. I'm for one, don't love to accuse anybody, especially now our brothers, whether they come from neighboring countries or only West African. For me, they are our brothers. But if they're in the country, that's why I'll do my best not to even call any nationality. But if you continue to manufacture drugs in our country, you should not have a space in Liberia. They should remove you because you're destroying the future of our children. They should be discouraged. Just watch this for a second.
A pleasant afternoon, good evening. It depends on where you are watching from. My name is Emmanuel Davis, and I'm coming to you live from the 72nd area where I've been alleged that 3 men were allegedly producing or manufacturing kush drugs in the 72nd area, to be precise, behind the CMFI High School in 72nd, where the chemical allegedly caught on fire.
Yeah, people are continuing to manufacture kush in the country. This kush, let me tell Liberian people, is it has some explosive components to it. That means it can catch big fire. It can burn whole community down, like bomb. Let me talk again. If somebody making kush around you and you're not saying nothing, the person can make sure the whole building it can explode. So kush, the chemical and what inside that bomb. So when you're not cooking it well and you don't know what you're doing, or even so now you know what you're doing, but mistake can happen, it can make the whole house catch a fire. Everybody in that house will die. You got a bomb. So if you get a house in Liberia and anybody ran your house, you sort of be visiting your house sometime. Look inside, see what the people doing in your hall. Make sure your hall, they're not playing what they're making kush. On Liberian law, the new law what the government get. If you get your land will be on Broad Street, and that land it was 300,000 US, and you rent your house to somebody on Broad Street, and the government find kush inside. The government can take your house and take the land and sell it. The land hold on for you anymore because you don't know how to take care of it. So you are under obligation that anybody who you get your house to, you're supposed to be monitoring that person. Especially if you know the person making draw in your hall, because the draw they can bring different chemical, and if he sees your bullet, different bullet, you go in your hall. They bring in different chemical, they carry chemical has to be being hall, because when chemical in hall, it can even make people fall down. It can make you faint. Okay, so chemicals are not good. Chemicals will be in open space. But if the chemical going in your hall and they're making kush in your house, the kush can explode. It can make you a bomb. It can chocolate your whole body. So if they're doing kush in your place, please understand you're the one responsible for it. They're the government responsible. Anything else happen, it leave with you.
The government also rejects a characterization by a former Liberian leader that the legal process concerning and surrounding the former vice president of Liberia is an indication that Liberia is now into tyranny. We believe that when individuals are in conflict with the law, and the law has been used to seek redress, it's far from tyranny, except somebody, somewhere, has got their own definition of what tyranny is.
Look, Davis, you could be right. We don't know because half the time our fire service department may not have had the tools to really do some investigation. Maybe that what bringing most of the fire across the country is very, very plausible. Because most people that were doing that, they didn't know how to do it in the beginning. Even here in America, in West Virginia and part of the southern states in the beginning, when they were cooking meth in some of these places, they didn't know how to do it. There were a lot of explosions, a lot of people died until they got the hang of it. So in the beginning, people don't know what they're doing. Maybe that's where the fires were coming from. But I'm going to say this: what the information minister just said. Look, people would peddle all kind of crap out there. I believe it's a form of politicization of what is happening in the country. Former president, we are out there, calling the process for Manajua Howard Taylor Wishon. Everything must be politicized because they believe it's for their benefit. And I'm going to say this: people who believe that the great county of Bond County will be in opposition because the president fighting drugs, you're lying. The people of Bond County will not listen to you. Nobody in Bon County want the children to die before them. I don't know one person in Bon County want to bury the children for taking drugs. So when the president removed drugs from the country, the people of Bon County are not going to get there with the president. When the president lowered rice prices in Bon County, they're not going to get there with him. Rice prices have been low compared to what was there before. It's still about $13, $15 for a bag of rice. It's always been that way. The people of Bon County getting clean water, they're not going to get there with the president. The people of Bon County getting some decent quality roads, they're getting electricity, they're not going to get there with the president. The people of Bon County getting some of the goods to market, whether they have a farm and they can get a goods to market, they can improve the health sector, they're not going to get there with the president. The people of Bon County getting new hospital, they're not going to go there with the president. So all of you guys are peddling this thing around, saying, oh, the people are going to be there because, in fact, it's somebody even know Joel Howard Taylor actually from Lopa County. They settled in Bon. Say you want to be tribalistic. Every time we explain this thing to people always find a way to be tribalistic. But at the end of the day, nobody will tell you, say, I am not doing this or doing that because you clean my community or you improve my living standard. So some of you guys need to understand what you're saying. The people of Bon County get enough sense to think for themselves that they didn't say to anyone good thing like bro. Y'all welcome here. Let's start the show. Let's enjoy ourselves.
Class Reloaded, the #1 online show that brings the truth. Showcasing JMB and JKK progress all across the country.
The Class Reloaded, we are online every day. Showcasing progress the Liberian way.
Well,
JMB and JKK, they're making the way. The Class Reloaded, we're shining today.
From Monrovia City to the other counties, development talk shake the country. We talk the truth, we don't lie. The rescue mission making people smile. Roads getting better, schools better, electricity stable, no more hoping. We see the change, we see the light. Unity Party doing things right. Who talk the facts?
The Class Reloaded.
Who bring the vibe?
The Class Reloaded.
Support development.
The Class Reloaded.
Who better arise again?
Oh yes we can.
Who talk the facts?
The Class Reloaded.
Who bring the vibe?
The Class Reloaded.
Support development.
The Class Reloaded.
Who better arise again?
Oh yes we can. The Class Reloaded, we are online every day.
Every day.
Showcasing progress the Liberian way.
Well, JMB and JKK, they're making the way. The Class Reloaded, we shining today. Turn up the sound, let the people dance. Liberia progress, we get the chance. No fake news, we bring the proof. The Class Reloaded, always in the booth. From social media to the street corner, everybody talking about the new order. Respect to the hosts, they keeping it real. Liberia future, that's the deal. The Class Reloaded,
Truth,
Liberia rising,
progress,
JMB and JKK,
develop,
the rescue mission, we move soon.
the Class Reloaded,
True,
Liberia rising,
progress,
JMB and JKK,
develop, the rescue mission, we move soon.
Yeah, hello, my people from across the country. Let's recognize the radio stations here. Actually, we'll call the frequency today. Radio Gompa Alaganta 106.5, Radio Buto way in Sano County. We say you're welcome 102.3, Bujo Radio FM 98.1, Crown Hill, Monrovia, Liberia, Punch FM 106.7. Welcome to the show. Trust FM 91.3 megahertz in German Camp Junction, Wheeler. Welcome to the show, man. Trust FM 88.7 megahertz in Bombay County. Quatige Radio 100.9 in Bangabong County. Classic FM 93.9 in Kakatama Agiri County. Premier FM 98.1 out of Banga. D2 FM Radio 95.5 megahertz. Government Camp, Bokonjide District number 2 in Sano County. Teach Our People Community Radio in Grand Jide Top FM. Welcome to the show. Radio Yalimba, out of 89.3 in Sekripi and Nima County. Radio Live 92.5 out of Zozo, Lofa County. Welcome on board, guys. Radio Haligi 102.5 out of Kolahon, Lofa County. Radio Margibi 103.9 out of Margibi County. Trust FM 91.3 out of Wheeler, Margibi County as well. All you guys from across Bourgeois Radio, Punch FM, DC 101, all across the country, we say you guys welcome. Look, before I bring the guys on board, let me ask you guys a question. I know the expectation that a country develops without doing what other countries have done, simply because we just supposed to develop in a vacuum. Hey, man, Helena, how are you doing, man? Helen Jala, welcome. Hey, my brother, Clarence Pega, what's going on, brother? It's been a long time. How you been? And people believe Liberia is supposed to develop in a vacuum without paying a certain price. Let me tell you something. Institutions have to be built. The structures of government have to be guarded. The structures of government have to be guarded by institutions. The institutions must be strengthened, not led by an individual. So in order to make decisions that will strengthen our society and by extension strengthen the state, it must be guarded by the institutions. And when institutions are formed, decisions are made, not being made just by the individual, but it's being made by the structure laid down by that institution. Let's take, for example, LPRC. LPRC has a guideline to make sure there is gas always in the country. If LPRC veers off and doesn't follow the very guideline, like you saw under President Weah administration, we will constantly have gas shortages. There will be disjointed operation. There will be no futuristic looking. There will be no forecast, no planning to make sure as Liberia population grows, we can make the adjustments to make sure we provide gas throughout the country and consistently. So institutions are very important now. If you see the institutions developing, where President Waka called a cabinet meeting every single month to make sure every institution is scrutinized so they can be able to report to the Liberian people what they are doing, what they're planning for next month, what are they doing 3 months from now, what are they doing 1 month from now, 1 year from now. These are institutional structural plans that must be manifested to get the president to attain his arrest agenda. So when you see that happening, people don't understand the workings of institutions. They say the man doing way, Sean. We're going to do the thing the same way. Hey, Dr. Carolyn Waller, how we doing, man? Hi to you. Anthony Zezema, welcome to the show from Columbus, Ohio. Siata Temwe, the girl from P-Town. What's going on, man? Destiny Favor, welcome to the show. So as these institutions are being built, certain people that are dismantling, people that don't belong in a hierarchical structure of the institution, when they remove, oh, you leave me. I'm supposed to be here, just collecting free paycheck, and I know nothing. Since the right time I've been working here, I'm supposed to be here. The only way I'm getting government, I got to get connection. But when you want to use meritocracy, I will tell you say no, because when people will bring comings out, that means I will not be able to hold my job. I must strangulate the system because I want to eat. Your eating is not as important as our collective eating. Let me talk again. For the whole of Liberia to eat, it is far way more important than for one person to eat. Every time you want one person to eat, you will make half of Riverside County hungry. And we cannot make half of Riverside County hungry. This is the counter-intuition where you see now people fighting. Oh, the president, you want to do everything. You want to enforce the law. The paper wicked. They're not wicked. Every time you govern responsibly, you are not wicked. You're governing the way it's supposed to be. The reason why you're being labeled as being wicked, because for far too long we have done the wrong things. Then now when we do the right thing, they consider that wickedness. But brother, going from hey, Leo my one. Before let's say a word. Let me say the papi. You know the papi, me and the papi. Pow, I don't know. I just about talking. Let me talking here. The papi say we all no apology. We're not telling nobody sorry to anyone who consider our efforts to be wisdom. Anybody will say we're telling no man for doing our job, we say you will still not inside. That the trends those are giving for man kebel. Because only witchcraft and we hunting. Anybody will stand in the way of the FDA to make sure our forests are protected, we will hunt you down. Anybody who killed the pygmy and hippos, we're going to come after you. Anybody will go into finance ministry and you don't want to follow the guidelines so we can collect more taxes through LRA to make sure the structures are strong, we're going to kick you outside. I will not tell anybody, sorry, who break the law in Liberia to make us poor, because my job as the president of the Republic of Liberia, I saw an oath to the Liberian people, and the oath is very simple. It says, I, Joseph Yuma Bwaga, do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia and to guard against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That means if you inside Liberia and you won't stop our progress, my you domestic enemy, and the Babese will hunt you down. And that's a fair game. Once again, man, Blair, welcome to the show on mute. What's popping with you, bro?
My brother Dollar, how you doing tonight? I wanted more to get back.
Hey, new penny by y'all.
What we want to call deck back?
That back is like what is happening.
Oh, I think that greeting you. Now I say deck back.
No, I think I want him way. I mean, basically the translation is how are you doing? But the literal translation is like how inside your body doing? I want it your way.
I'm wanting your way.
Yeah, let's hear from inside the body. How inside the body doing everything inside
I wanted your way.
No, I wanted your not your.
I wanted your I learned another one thing on that, brother. And good evening to all of our listeners out there in Radio Land. Those of you who are on live here on the podcast, viewing us in real time, we really want to appreciate y'all. I don't know how many are you over there right now, because I'm watching this right now
so right now we got 2,327 people.
So if every one of you just share the podcast, it will be about 2,000 times that the podcast is being shared. And what you can do also, you can share it into the inboxes of your friends. Okay? And you can tag friends in the live comment section. Once they see that tag, they hit on it on the live show. There is a way to expand the show. We really love you guys. We appreciate you guys for being on the show every day. We're coming from Monday to Friday. It's a beautiful thing to be here to talk about country. Just that Human Podcast has no apology for anybody.
You shouldn't.
I have no apology for anybody, because I can now be prouder to follow a leader, to ride on an old man's back and gain wisdom just for country. And the old man's back is so strong that it's scary. Almost the entire country on his back. So when people say you are riding on the old man's back, be proud that you are riding on the old man's back, because
it's a steady back.
It's the best thing you can do. This is to plant the new mats. You have to know how you planted the old mats. And that is just a human back. If you look at the trajectory at which our country is moving today, it's moving very fast. You know, that is why yesterday people said, Abbott, people wanted to change English around. Say, anyway, change the English around. That man is my brother. I went for him the way I went for him because it was important, because it's not because he spoke against Gregory. He was disrespectful to the presidency. And being disrespectful to the presidency, he decided to use the presidency to fight his proxy warfare. Okay? So, and I look at it. You did not sit in class with Gregory Coleman and myself. Gregory Coleman and myself sat in class from 7th grade to 10th grade. So that's what 10th grade. So that's what 95, 96. We're talking about it. Okay. So, and you were one of our kid brothers. Okay. So if people say, "Oh, he made a mistake," man, they didn't say he taught Gregory Coleman. If I would change it around, that we sat in the same class, it is still a blatant lie, because the young man was attending PMRC, Methodist, Protestant Methodist. While we were in Sijin, the Catholic school, Gregory Coleman and myself. So we used to take that young man. He used to lie a lot when we were growing up together. He's a family friend. And I tell you, we used to tell him, "Man, you need to stop it." And in the adulthood, he's still weaponizing it. And people like, "Oh, we're not saying a lot that will happen," because if you're just going to fight your proxy warfare against Gregory Coleman alone, okay, and leave the president out of it, I will say, okay, let me relax. Because Gregory knows how to push his pen. But when you want to use the presidency to fight the proxy warfare, because Patrick is like a kid brother to you, okay? He look up to you as a mentor. and y'all want to push this thing on this man. The man didn't protect. Yeah. No. Then that family who we have to step into it and tweet it a little bit for the public to understand that everybody you see that come on this internet and want to talk and present themselves so much as decent. The internet, you want to believe it, you believe it at your own risk. Dwalu, I'm glad to be on the platform tonight.
Thank you so much, Albert. You mentioned something. I'm going to tell Liberian people, we have to elevate the discourse. Me and Albert can be here. We can have the same mindset. If I disagree something with Albert and we go at each other, it don't mean I hate Albert. We have to grab. So when we finish talking, I'll tell him, man, you get far over to the hotel, can I eat? Okay. This is the kind of level we should want. We can still disagree without being disagreeable. Because sometimes some people don't know how to disengage.
I'm not cutting you off. You see in the comment section, there's a lady called Sange Logan. Okay? Sange Logan, she lives in the U.S. She's in beautification and the planting breeding and all of things. Sange, Gregory, and everyone else. From 7th grade to 10th grade, we sat in the same class. So I could not have sat. She's saying I'm a witness. I could not have sat and allowed this guy to persuade the general public and the opposition. They were using it as a weapon. They weaponized it. And just playing this. I said, no, this brother, I have to go for him. I have to switch it a little bit. I have to hammer him. There's the internet. Politics, when you take a side, there's no wishy-washy. No. There is no wishy-washy. If you are for the rescue agenda, if there is a problem, you channel it inward. But if you want to go outdoor, especially at the presidency level, and want to say this old man was exactly where he used, then you are crossing the levels. And we, okay, well, the day we meet in Nima County in the family level, we'll settle that. But on the political level, we will teach each other, and it's good that he didn't respond, because I was going to drag my own brother on this internet like nothing I've ever done before.
It is simple. No, listen. The soul of this country is not something I'm going to compromise with anybody. And another thing before I give it to my brother Abraham, people got to understand, if you come on the internet and you say something against somebody, just be ready, the person will respond. But if you're going to start playing victim after you attack Blair and Blair respond, then you say, oh, and I see Blair respond to me, I'm here for that thing. If you don't want me to respond to you, don't come dead in my whites. If you see my whites with your red oil, you'll buy me tassel and Clorox so you can clean it. Once again, man, Abraham, welcome to the show. Unmute. The other guys will be here soon. Go ahead, Abraham.
Let me say good evening to Eduardo and my friend and brother Albert. And let me say good evening to all of our viewers, our followers as well. If you have not followed this page, I will ask you right now for you to just take 1 minute of your time for you to be able to go and follow this page, so that for each time we come on, you will be able to receive a signal. Or you can go like that page, that will serve, as a reminder for each time this show is on, you will receive an alert. But with that being said, I am ready to step. What is it that some of our Liberian population want? Is it that they want good governance? Is it that they want a place for their unborn children, for everyone to be treated equal? Or maybe they just want something that they can be able to hang on to be able to eat from the crumbs table? What is it that we really want? Brother, it was interesting for you to know that some of our Liberian population, some of our brothers, they are spinning this thing here, the justice ministry, in collaboration with the police, with the joint security. They have indicted this woman. Some of you guys spinning around with it, making it look like it was a rich hunt. Making it look like Dua is an outsider. Making it look like the Joe and the president does not have a cordial relationship. But like the president has said, I don't care whether it can be my own child or it can be my own children. Let them be able to face the bandwidth of the law. Let them be able to go to facing their charges that they have on them. What is said that everything that we have to politicize, everything that the government have to come up with in a country, every time we have to politicize everything that the government is doing. Today, you don't have the shortage of our staple food, which is rice, on the Liberian people market. The price of rice, it is stable. It is stable more than ever before. The price of gasoline with America and the Middle East, with them going at knucklehead, still there are not a shortage of gas on our Liberian market. And the less of flour, sugar, there's no shortage of those material things on our Liberian market. The issue of transportation fare from Monrovia to Grand Gide, it has more such cheaper more than before. What is it that the Liberian people, some of our brothers, they need? What is it that they really want?
Put Jolly for them.
The president should come, like Eduardo has said, to come to cook Tobogi for you in your home. Is that what you want? The government have made every sector in our Liberia, in our rural county, the government have made every sector to be working. And that is what we as Liberians that we need. So I am confused. I sat down and I was telling someone, do you prefer a Liberia today? Do you prefer Liberia yesterday than the Liberia today? Is that what someone is telling me? Where in our market women used to pack on their market around 5, 4 o'clock because they are rushing before the bar boss then handle them. Today, the market women that can live in the market up to 9 o'clock, up to 6, up to 7. The market women that are saying, they say, I can come in peace and go in peace. That is what every country pray for. And that's the reason why I will continue to praise this president, because this president is not looking whether you are black, whether you are white, whether you are Grebo, whether you are Mandingo, whether you are Pele. The president is treating everyone equal.
And that's what we pray for all the time. And this is why, Abraham, we always pray for this. And how about you are right? You know, this is the Stockholm syndrome that sometimes we talk about on the show. The least amongst us, those are the very people that will be fighting against the progress that is meant for them. And sometimes they don't know this though, so they'll fight against it because let's be serious. Look, if somebody is truly hungry now, it doesn't mean everything in the country is gravy. I got to make this disclaimer that should go without saying, because somebody will come and say, oh, maybe because you're in America, like why you say nobody say everything in the country is perfect. But every single time when you come up with the argument, I want you to compare and contrast what was there before, what is there now, and where we're going. That's how you determine whether we are making some progress. Of course, I want everybody in the country to have a job. Even though sometimes people believe that the government should take everybody, the government does not have a capacity to take more than 40,000 people. I think right now we are closer to 50, 60,000 people because President we haven't bloated the payroll. We don't have the capacity to take that much people. The voting age population of Liberia is approximately 2.6, 2.7 million people. That means the government cannot take everybody. However, the government has to create an environment, something the government is doing expeditiously. The government has to open up the roads. They're doing that. The government has to build the hospitals and the clinics. They're doing that. Yes, the government has to push to expand the private sector so we can create more jobs. Okay? But there are layers to development. The last time I explained to you guys about stages of development. If we don't have the basic infrastructure, we cannot build to the next level. The roads that should have been built 50 years ago, 100 years ago, they are just not being built. They should have been built before. And I get it. I get it. Young men in the country, I understand you should have a job. You should be fighting to get something in your society. But don't be fooled and allow people to let you believe that the president will come to your home and go chore and agree. That's not how things work. If you're a young man, you got to find a hustle. Life is a little bit relatively easier compared to before. Things are gradually improving. Look around your country. Every single county in Liberia, every single county, there is something going on in that county in form of development. This has never happened before in Liberia's history. Let me repeat that. There is not a single county in the Republic of Liberia that the government is not carrying on some public work project to improve that county. So things are happening. Go to those areas, try to expand your operations there and make a living. But you have to appreciate what is happening in your country because we've never had that before. So when somebody come and tell you, oh, but the president, I'm bringing fried chicken here every morning. Those are the people that want the system to be the same way it is, so you can go to the house to go back. The president's aim is to make sure you don't go to nobody's house to go back, to be able to stand on your own 2 feet as a woman, on your own 2 feet as a man, to be able to expand find your own livelihood in your own country. And this is the aim. And one of the easiest ways to do this is to build the infrastructure that's going to support economic growth in the country. And that's what is being done. So we'll continue to remind people, look, guys, I want to play this because I want us to spend a little bit of time on it before the guys come in here. We still got drug issue in the country. People are still manufacturing drugs in people's homes. Let me play about 2 seconds of this before we go before I go to you guys.
A pleasant afternoon, good evening. It depends on where you are watching from. My name is Emmanuel Davis, and I'm coming to you live from the 72nd.
And bless, one of the things we do here on the platform is to educate. And most of what people don't understand that these drugs can cause explosions. Some of the fires you saw around Monrovia, and this is speculation because I don't have evidence to support this, but knowing that people are producing the drugs in these homes, some of these homes, they are poorly ventilated because we don't have regulation as to what should be ventilation, but they manufacture the kush in people's homes across Liberia. Let's speak to our people on why this is harmful and how this is bad for them, especially if the government finds out in this case, because now somebody will talk and say, oh, to Mr. Dwalu Hall, Reb Diana Hall is in Hall there, they're making kush here. Somebody will talk like on mute.
Dwalu, there's the thing. Who are those that are producing these drugs? Which is prohibited. It is against the law. But let's go to the educational level. Because to produce these drugs, we are talking about chemistry. We are talking about physics. Who are these people? Do they understand the danger that it poses to the immediate environment that they are producing these drugs? Because the chemical level to burn these drugs, or the combustion level, or whatever processes that these drugs are going through, it releases some bad products into the air. Yeah. And the people who live, we have not reached to the finished product, but we are talking about at the production level, what it releases into the atmosphere, and the people who are within the immediate surrounding. First of all, at the first hand inhaler of the kush, the process of producing the kush is where they begin to affect the lives of people. And then before we come to the finished products. Now, why it is prohibited, these people who are producing these things in the community, some of these people, they are not educated. They do not know the danger that it poses to society. They do not know the danger that it poses to the immediate environment. Even they themselves who are producing it within that confined environments. It's a little space that they are producing it. And they have to use combustion, okay, to produce these things, Dwalu. So even they themselves in there, they are being highly affected. But when it comes to the greater population, that is where we get to say the root cause of this thing is not just from 2024, Dwalu.
Yeah.
it started before 2024. Kush did not start in this administration. The reason why we did not hear much about the cocaine and other higher grade cocaine and other drugs that are higher than cocaine is because the little guys at the time that we call the Zocos, they did not have the money to buy them. They were just used as the lab rats. Some of those drugs were released to them to be able to take it for the suppliers and the facilitators to be able to see that reaction. Okay? But this kush that these people are producing today, Dwalu, is not in 2024. They started producing it long before 2024. And the government of the day at the time endorsed these things. Because if they were not in favor or if they were pushing against drugs, what we are seeing today, that is now on Broad Street, that was on Broad Street from 2018 to 2023, Dwalu, where people are seeing insecure up to 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, people are worried that they are on the streets of Broad Street. What we're seeing today, let's measure the both, because you said something very, very important that we have to measure to know which is better from the past administration to this administration. So let me begin by doing the measurement. Between 2018 to 2023, were you safer on Broad Street by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock when you were still looking for taxis?
No.
And there's government. Do you see zombies in the streets as compared to 2018 to 2023, as compared to this government from 2024 to 2026? Do you see the zombies? Do you see many young people sitting and sleeping, walking and sleeping, standing and sleeping, or squatting and sleeping as of 2023 to 2024 as compared to this government? The reason why these people have stepped up the attack against the government is because this government has surpassed the record, and everything this government is doing today, rehabilitating the young people who I would like to classify as disadvantaged young youth, energetic Liberians who should be the arrowhead of our country in the future. We had a group of people who don't care, group of people who presided over our country for 6 unbroken years and treated these young people as lab rats. And today, most of them have built mansions in Liberia. Some of them built mansions as tomb to bury their folks. And today, most of you cannot still sit and comprehend. You want to compare prices and the U.S. rate. Compare the bags of rice and the U.S. rate today. One thing you will have to understand is that as time goes by, prices are not stagnant. Prices change with respect to the mode of time. As we go back, we'll be able to propound on the move. Thanks a lot, my brother.
Yeah, and also too, Abraham, one thing I want people to know with the manufacture of these drugs in these facilities, if you're pregnant, sometimes you get made a baby can't also all kind of way the baby hit B or the baby get tumor on the body, it's part of it. If you got small children, developmental stages, beyond the age of 5, those things, they emit certain chemicals in the atmosphere. So most of the time, they put the manufacturing that drugs in your community. It doesn't have to be inside your house. So if you 2-3 houses around, especially in our society where we build the houses so close together, so that one place they manufacturing that drugs, maybe the 5-6 houses around it, all of them could get affected. So this thing here, Abraham, it is not just affecting the house that they're manufacturing it in. So if you live in a community, Liberian people, if you're listening to me on the radio, it even they give you small thing. The tumor, it can put B racing inside your brain. It can put it there. That tumor, they don't have the proper gear. It can put that same B racing in your children's brain. In the community, everybody in the area just are getting sick. That what's happening. So our goal here is for you to understand when somebody manufacturing a hell of a chemical in your area, that's what they're doing with everybody. So some people can fall down and die. Abraham, let's hear from you.
Dodo, the thing it is required for us to be able to explain to our people in a very simple time.
Yeah.
My people, and let me tell you, the thing that they call tar and da, that another drugs need, they call tar and da.
That's right.
They call the other one a kush. When you see any smoke around your area and people just bringing stuff coming, call the LDA, yeah? Because that smoke, that thing, what the people can be carrying for them to be able to face that something they call kush or tie and die. It can put big raspy in your head. When you pregnant, the pregnant woman, the baby can just come on some kind of way. And then the baby, either the baby get one finger, the baby two hand, not there, the baby head big, and the baby can come also all kind of way, my people. So that thing here, it is dangerous for our community, it is dangerous for our country, it is dangerous for our country. So when you see it, call the LDA, when you see any horse around your terrain, around your neighborhood, where the opponent just coming in, going out, coming in, just bringing all kind of substances, all kind of things, you should call the LDA. Tell the LDA, say you're not selling fire. With the way the people are moving, with the way they can be smoking your neighbor house, tell the LDA that you're not selling fire. Let they come to check. And that crime, you will not pay money. When you call the LDA, when the LDA people come, they will not pay. You will not pay fine. Tell the people that say you're not selling fire with the way the people are not doing it. Because if you don't do it, if your wife pregnant, or you the woman you pregnant, and that dangerous thing there, when you inhale that stuff, that dangerous thing there for your baby, and for all, we're not already plenty. So we don't want for something to be able to happen to your baby, or for something to be happen to your child. So in that manner, you should call the LDA, my people. When you call the LDA, tell them say you're not certified the way they put them coming, the way they put them going, the way they smoke can be in your neighborhood. Tell them say you're not certified with it. Let them come to check. But look.
Thank you.
The issue of drugs, creating a drug, manufacturing of drug in our country, in our community, in our neighbor, it is very, very much dangerous. I disagree with my brother Blair to say that men are not educated. No. Drugs, manufacture of drugs does not have to do with education. Manufacture of drugs does not have to do nothing with education. This guy they are giving the menu how to produce that drugs. So for me, I will tell you, I am sending this thing as a support system to Big Brother Zanga, who is one of my big brother. I am sending this as a reminder to him that anywhere, at any point in time, they come in connection with anyone any production activity taking place in any of the neighboring houses. Let a house be seized. Let the people there, let them be arrested and be put behind bars. And that is the reason why, I am saying that. Look, there is a need for us to be able to build a new prison facility, because some of these guys, they need to go to prison. Some of the guys, they need to go to prison, and so that when they're coming out from the prison, they can be work on for them to be able to turn to a new person, because productions of drugs into our society, it is non-bailable, and I love that crime, that nomenclature that is attached to the drugs law in our country.
Thank you.
It is very, very much disheartening. Thank
yep,
you.
And our goal here is Abraham Fri. I want people to understand, and not just one place. Liberian people in most countries across the globe, because it's extremely dangerous. They usually carry it on a farm somewhere in an open space. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but under no circumstance that should be produced within a house. So many things can happen. The $20, the $10 they will give for you to not talk, The medical problem could be 10,000 US dollars for the medical problem if you even got that to be taken care of. People will go crazy. Sometimes you sit in, you start bleeding, internal bleeding. I want you to understand the impact. And for on children, it worse on children. You cannot see it, you cannot smell it, you cannot taste it, but it's killing you. The higher looking in the community. So with anybody doing drugs, especially if they bring in chemical, I'm pretty sure the DEA has cataloged some of these chemicals that they bring into the country and to go manufacture the drugs. So one chemical by itself, it probably can't do anything. They have a bunch of combinations that are put together to be able to generate this thing. It's extremely, extremely toxic. You don't want it in your community. This is the message. If they give you $20, $100 for you to shut up, that $100 that one will kill you. It will kill you, it will kill your mind, it will kill your pie, it will kill children in the yard. It will kill people, serious people. They should not manufacture that stuff anywhere in a populated area. Call the DA, let them take care of it. I know you guys heard about the ruling that came down today. We don't know what the guys are. As soon as they come on board, I'm going to bring them on the screen. You guys heard about the ruling today in the arson case. The Supreme Court, the Justice Ministry, literally won every single petition before the Supreme Court. It was a great day for Liberia. The Fanadi Kofa and the arson case from the legislature has been sent back to the lower court for trial. Kofa were praying on the Supreme Court to literally dismiss the case. They didn't want the case to go forward. The Supreme Court said, no, we're going to turn it down. But it's fitting that we gave you guys a reminder of our legislature.
Is it going? Yes. On he goes. Where does he go? Unto jail he goes.
We know what happened in the country. It's still fresh in most of our minds. The entire Supreme Court was set ablaze. Millions of dollars, money that can go into Zwedru to build some stuff. We got to take that money now to renovate the legislature, which is still on renovation, by the way. This is the ruling that came from the Supreme Court today. Blair, it says the Supreme Court of Liberia has authorized the resumption of the Capitol building arson trial after rejecting the defendant's attempt to stop the proceedings. So Fanati Kofa and his team, the whole intent was, you should not try us for this. We don't want to go to court. We want the Supreme Court to stop this. And the Supreme Court said, no, we're not going to stop it. You're going to go back down to the lower court, and there'll be a jury selection, and then we're going to retry this case if you're guilty or you're not guilty. If you're not guilty, we've done our part. You can walk scot-free and you get your freedom back. If you're guilty, the law will take its course. Let me ask you this question. And we will give the disclaimer. We are not saying that the crew is guilty because the government said they do have evidence. They are presented, and the government evidence reads, as we are listening to Councilor Ma, they don't say allegedly in the government evidence. They say Dwalu has done this. We got evidence to prove that Dwalu wore his glasses on Friday at 5:13 p.m. on the east coast of the United States. That's how the government sees the case. Now, the government believes these guys are guilty of this crime. They have presented the evidence to the government. Fanati Kofa and his team decided to say, listen, we don't want to go to court. We want the government to stop these proceedings. The same thing that happened in the Twer case, for example. They went to the Supreme Court, said, listen, we have immunity. We should not be allowed to be tried. The Supreme Court said, no, you will go to court. Now, the same thing has happened in the Fanati Kofa case. They brought it back down to the lower court. I think this is a great ruling for the country. I'd rather this thing go to court. Let you tell me exactly what happened. Only one problem I have, I want this whole thing televised in the courtroom. But Blair, let's hear your take on this case.
Yeah, daughter, I think the Supreme Court, this bench, I think they are doing well because Dwalu, when I listened at the ruling hand down by the Supreme Court yesterday on the FDA case, that case was, the appeal took 11 years.
What?
2015, the appeal went in. 2015.
Holy cow! I didn't.
The appeal was taken in 2015, and in 2026, the Supreme Court is handing down ruling. So it is a good thing that under the same dispensation that Kofa and the rest of his co-defendants will take a flight to the Supreme Court to prohibit, because they want to prohibit the judge for disbanding also the jury.
The jury. And they filed the wrong petition.
Yeah, because the judge felt that the jury was compromised through the petition from the prosecution. And the jury was also disbanded. And they wanted the case also thrown out of the out of the lower court to evade justice. But what I'm glad for here is that this present bench, I hope that they can continue on this road. That cases will not sit on the docket of the Supreme Court for a very long time, because that Wogbe case, it began in 2011. And then in 2015 was the appeal. And then in 2026, we arrived at a decision by this present Supreme Court bench. So what is happening is that these people, because Dwalu, the Capitol building, is the cradle of our democracy. It is sacred. It is where these people go to represent us. And because of politics, disagreements, few people decide to allegedly put ablaze the sacredness of our decision, because they go there to represent on every decision they make there. It is through our voices that is speaking in the national legislature. And few people decide to allegedly go and desecrate and burn the cradle of our democracy. Without the national legislature, the government is incomplete. They are the one who are the keeper of the country's purse. They make the allocation. They say the government must spend this. If the decision is not arrived at that building, the government cannot spend a cent. So there was a sabotage. There was a coup against the people. And these people decided to take a flight to the Supreme Court to ask the Supreme Court to throw the case out the window. It is good that we have level-headed people who are sitting at the sacredness of our justice system, our judiciary. They made the best decision to tell the lower court, resume authority on this case, and you were right to disband the jury. They will have to have a new jury, because if you look, I think this is what these people are depending on, because if we are looking at the cries that are coming out of the case evolving from the Samuel 12 case, what we are talking about, jury tampering, from which end? It is still before the Supreme Court, because they have taken a flight to the Supreme Court. So people are depending on manipulating, because they think that is happening in our country, and that is why this president is fighting to educate the new generation, because people who sit at that juror level, they have to be educated, because these people are manipulated. They are easily bought. But when you have a new generation of people who are educated and understand that this country needs better, nobody will easily tamper with jurors.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Blake. Welcome to the show. My brother Abraham, the arson case, you're no stranger to it. You know what's happening. The verdict has come down. They're going to go back downstairs to the lower court. Hopefully it stays there until its completion. Councilor Mine is not here, but this Didi Batate that people love to play, and it's small thing bothers you go to the Supreme Court, because you know it's going to sit there for a while. It seems we are turning the page for another chapter now, where it may not be there for 15, 16 years anymore, maybe 1-2 years. Hopefully it can be lower than that. For me personally, I believe most of these cases should not make it to the Supreme Court. It should take no more than 8 hours. You bring it up there, you bring an executive summary with reasons, and they think going back down. Push those cases back down, and let the process complete before you go to the Supreme Court. But let's hear your take, Ibrahim.
Dodo, that is the reason that, Kukwe Yamin Bese is an expert when it comes to the law. That is what that woman have been doing from day one. So you understand the Liberian law, you understand the Liberian society. But Dodo, that is our law, that is our judiciary system. But I am glad that the Supreme Court has struck it back down The reason because let the government go back to the lower court. Let them go justify.
Yeah.
Let them go at the lower court. Let them go talk all the glip at the. Let them go. Let them go there. Brother, you will understand that we fought 14 years of civil crisis or 14 years of civil war. The rebels, including the government too, they did not temper with that building. The rebels, they were launching the rocket. They did not launch the rocket at the first branch of government, opposite the University of Liberia. So for me, I see this as a new day. I see this as a gateway to our judiciary system. Cases like that was just saying, cases that have been, there are cases that are on the Supreme Court docket that are there for 15, 20 years. So it is this Chief Justice Koko Yaringbese, it is his turn. He is saying, no, cases don't need to come here for them to be able to spend that long of time, that length of time, I mean. So for me, I will reserve all my comment when it comes to the case, but the police and the justice ministry, they are saying, no, we have the evidence that these guys, they burn our capital. Although under our law, they are proven innocent until proven guilty, but the justice and that of the police, they don't say that.
Thank you. Thank you, Abraham. Thank you so much. Like I said, Cole, welcome to the show. We thank you for that beautiful song. We already played it. Let's play it one more time before you come in. You are no stranger to this arson case. You know what's been going on with it. And I think it was a great ruling today. Let's watch it.
Is it going? Yes. On he goes. Where does he go? Unto jail he goes.
Where else are they supposed to go if they're found guilty? They should go to jail. Oh.
Yeah, if you're guilty, you will go on to jail. And that song actually, Honorable Kopa wrote that song himself. The song wrote itself.
Yeah.
So anyway, on we go. Y'all, hello. Hello, Joseph Clinton and Ella Hook. Who else gave me a shout out? All of you. It's Friday. It's a happy day.
Happy day.
I'm very proud. It's no secret that I'm very proud of my uncle, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. I'm very proud of him. I don't think that, you know, it's been a long time since we have had a Chief Justice who is courageous enough to do what he's been confirmed and commissioned to do for the country. So he's doing the right things. We also have a justice minister who is courageous and doing what he's been commissioned to do for the country. And of course, we have a president who is incredibly courageous and doing what he's supposed to do for the country. So 2 out of our 3 branches of government are doing what they should do for the Republic of Liberia. The people's direct representatives that the people elect and empower to do what they're supposed to, to do what the citizens want them to do. Many of them are doing a great job. but not enough of them. The problem with the legislature is just the sheer number of them. And we have too many representatives and senators in the first place, too many counties, too many people elected, and it's inefficient. And many of the people who have been elected to the legislature, both the House and the Senate, many of these people are not living up to the responsibility given to them by the citizens. And that is unfortunate. And actually, they're serving as a hindrance in some cases to the forward progress of our country. We are not going to be quiet about it. We're not going to be afraid to speak out. When we see lawmakers behaving as though they are doing public relations work for the drug cartel, when we see lawmakers slandering our country, we see lawmakers doing things, and we don't have the leadership of the House and the Senate calling them to book. It seems like as though it's condoned by the entire institution, and that's unfortunate because I don't want to believe that that is the case. I'm hoping that the Speaker of the House and the Senate Pro Tem will step up and do what the Liberian people empowered them to do and what their colleagues lifted them to leadership to do, which is to lead and to confront those who are not doing what they've been elected to do and those who are violating ethical standards for elected officials. That's where some of the progress will begin. The executive branch of government is doing what they're supposed to do. Now it's time for the first branch, the legislative branch, to do what they're supposed to do. But again, the rulings coming out of the court, great news. We come from Baisela. We come from Baisela. We come from a little creek town along the side of a small creek on the Iron Mountain in between Ganta and Sanukule. I don't know what they put in that water, but not small bravery can come out of that place. So I salute you, Mr. Chief Justice, Uncle Kwesi. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Progress is being made. People must be held accountable. Look, guys, at the end of the day, what's happening in the country, people are being held accountable. Going through the judicial process, this is something we must celebrate. And before we go away, and I want to come to you first, Abraham. There is this thing in Liberia. If Paul gets arrested for whatever crime she commits, even though she's still in jail, the arrest process is okay. Nothing wrong with that. We have to learn to understand that part of the judicial process involves arrest, going to the court. That doesn't mean anybody has done anything wrong yet until they are adjudicated. What do we say to our people? That the process is necessary to grow our democracy. How do we explain this to them, Abraham? That we must ensure that the judicial process is strengthened, our courts must be believed, and the jury system must be strengthened. If you're a juror in our society, this is a very important job for the very democracy that we want. You cannot play around with it. And I'm play to it's a very serious undertaking. And if you mess around with it, you go to jail. Let's hear your take.
Dodo, the understanding is that, our country, some people will not just get it. Some people will not just get it. Some people will not just understand. That is how Liberian and that is how our society is. We can sit down on this platform from now to tomorrow to be able to explain it as simple as Liberian English. Some of our brothers will not still understand it. That when you are accused, that when you are charged, you are then forwarded to court. The police will not work is done. The police will not work about arresting you, about doing this. That one by is done. So now you have to answer question now to the court. It is left for you to be able to hire your own lawyer, or if you don't have one, the government will be able to make one available for you. How simple and how Simply, we can be able to explain that. But when you go to the court, you are still, our law, it says, you are still proven, you are still innocent until the court can be able to come down with their judgment. That means the two parties must have argued in front of the judge. If necessary, you guys would send it to a jury trial. That means 10 people or 12 people, whatsoever people that the number may be, they will come to sit down to listen to you guys' argument, and from there, they will come out with their verdict. But you know, this platform, this is why we are here, for us to be able to provide some of the information to our people. But still, I am telling you, some of our people will not still understand it. Thank you.
Yeah, our job is to continue to push for them to understand it. Councilor Man, welcome to the show. I know you understand the Austin case, you understand the judge's verdict today. But before you come in, Councilor Man, let's listen to this journalist a little bit as she explains after the verdict today from ELBC.
We are following the case. Earlier on, we were following the case involving the former NSA official Peter Bonjala, who allegedly sodomized a 14-year-old boy, and that came to a break. They had a break because the victim in question took the stand and testified that indeed he was sodomized according to what he said, by defendant Peter Bonjala and two of his friends. And while carrying on the act, he was being videotaped and being filmed. In that particular court, whenever the victim takes a stand, he or she is in camera, and so everybody sat and listened to what he had to say, telling the court. And then later on, another witness were brought in to testify concerning the case about his friend, because the victim claimed his friends knew about what was happening because they were.
That's a wrong one, but we're going to talk about the arson case. What does that mean? And while you answering that question, Honorable Ma, how often, please include it, how often does the court postpone cases in our court? So, for instance, if before pre-trial detention, how often does that get postponed? Is that regular or just once in a while that happens? The reason why I'm asking that question, some people claiming Malanjua Howard Taylor case will push ahead because people just want to spend some time in the jail. But mostly we're talking about the arson case. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Twalu. And let me say good evening to the panelists and to Liberians listening to us at home and abroad. Wherever you are, we glad to be here today. What was the first question? I heard
the first question is about the arson case, but I just wanted you to comment. How often does cases get postponed in the Liberian courts? Is it pretty normal or that's pretty rare?
No, it's normal.
Okay.
It's normal practice anywhere around the world in the courts, where if lawyers have to go to court and for one reason or the other, one of the parties' lawyers cannot make it to court, you can seek an excuse from the judge and pray for what we call continuance, so that the case be rescheduled for some reason. It is left with the judge to look at the reason for rescheduling the excuse that you gave and decide whether that excuse is genuine or not. And if the judge sees it genuine, the judge will continue the hearing of the matter to another date. But particularly for today's preliminary examination hearing, there's no way the judge could have denied that, because majority of the prosecuting lawyers are counselors of the Supreme Court bar. And the Supreme Court today was closing its March term of court. And it's by rules of the court that every counselor should be in the court, in the Supreme Court, when the court is closing. And so there's no way a counselor could have gone to a lower court to hear a case when the Supreme Court demanded their presence in the Supreme Court. So it was that excuse that was given, for which the judge granted it. And as a matter of fact, it is a normal practice also that if I was representing cases and I had a clash Two, I had to be in two different courts at the same time. I can ask excuse from one court and give them that reason that, and especially when it is the Supreme Court is superior to any other court. So once you
Right.
have a schedule in the Supreme Court, you are mandated to be there.
So it's pretty regular. That was my question. So that's
It
pretty
is,
regular.
it
Okay.
is regular.
Okay.
So Dalu, again, as I said, people will say what they want to say, and like Abraham was saying that no matter how long, look, there are some people who just forget. Don't you know what you do? I always say I don't say things to convince you.
Mhm.
I just put what I believe is the facts or what I believe is my rational opinion about certain things I put out there. It is not to convince you because some people, no matter how you talk from now to judgment day, you will never
True.
convince them.
True.
And I can assure everybody that with that preliminary examination, it is not going to get Madam Taylor bail. It is not. The preliminary examination is just for the magistrate to see whether the government has probable cause for Madam Taylor to answer. And as I said again, it's not the trial. So it is just about 1 or 2 days for the government to say these are the things we are building against her, and it is solid enough for her to be brought to court to answer. And once the magistrate determines that, because the issue there are certain crimes, especially felonious crimes,
Mm.
they are so serious that for a judge to just say no, there's nothing much to answer that judge, then that judge must be really serious to look into that matter. And I don't believe that the government has raised any flimsy things just to, so that procedure is a legal procedure. We just go through, just like they did with the Paul King issue. It will go through, but in the end, I'm 99% sure that the magistrate will rule that there is sufficient issues for her to answer, and he will forward the case file to the criminal court A for indictment, and she will be kept in remand prison until the case is heard, until it's finally concluded. So if somebody's saying that they are delaying just to keep her there longer, the person must just get ready that I don't foresee her coming out soon until this entire matter
In fact,
is.
before you go forward, let me just read this. This is actually coming from Representative Melvin Cole out of Bone County. He said, hearing in the Joel Howard Taylor case rescheduled just because they want to keep her in a dirty place. Imagine a still woman jailed in a regular cell, wickedness at the highest level. So these insinuations, I don't follow them,
Yeah,
but yeah,
but Marvin Cole, first thing, Marvin Cole is a representative.
yeah,
Um, eh, it is the legislature that makes the law. So if Marvin
exactly.
Cole and the likes of them believe that there should be different standards under the law, then they should pass that law. If they say that state men and state women who commit crime should be treated in the Hotel Africa, they must pick the Hotel Africa and send them there.
Yeah,
That the legislature can make the law. As it stands right now, the law says that everybody is equal under the law. Every prisoner goes to where he's supposed to go. So if the representative in his wisdom, because I don't want to say any other thing that
yeah.
somebody say, because that thing sounds foolish to me. It's complete foolishness, but that is a statesman. That is a lawmaker,
That's an excellent point.
and
Yeah,
and and some of those things some of those statements they make, I don't know if they make it by thinking or they just made it out of emotions. You don't speak out of your heart, you speak out of your head.
yeah.
Because so they can go to make the law and say no, we got category of prisoners now, and going forward we get category of crime. So when you steal chicken or you steal somebody
Phone.
$10,000 or you
Yeah,
go arm rob somebody, you will go, yeah. When a B-man steal or the statesman has a problem, the statesman will go to Royal Hotel. The government will get two suite for you. You'll be inside Royal Hotel. So they will treat you with royalty. Let them pass that law. Until you can pass that law, you can't talk this kind of foolishness to the Liberian people. and say because a stateswoman, so she's sleeping in regular cell. Where in the law that it says that statesmen or stateswomen should sleep in special comfortable cell? Where does it say that in the law? You know, and that is why Itualu, I mean, sorry that we may be going over it.
I understand.
But this is why again I said that for the prison authorities, and you know, sometimes look, I really admire this time for the work that is done at the Ministry of Justice, but some of the decisions they make, I'm very uncomfortable about that. And I must be very frank. For the prison authority to allow people to carry mattresses, clothes, bag of clothes, all those kinds of things to the prison to make a prisoner comfortable. You know, you see, these are the things that are giving people these kinds of you know, impetus to come and tell us these kinds of crap. All right. The law does not recognize anybody above anybody else. Every prisoner is a prisoner. The condition there is the condition there. So if we start making exceptional cases for people, who knows tomorrow? This president has decided that he's not going to compromise the law. And it's not only in drug matters. He says, if you are here to destroy this country, I will go after you. Destroying the country has to do with theft. It has to do with corruption. It has to do with plenty of things. You understand? And so if now we start going after people for accountability and going after public officials to be accountable, and we start allowing each of them by their status to now start designing and getting their own comfort in the Monrovia Central Prison, and then why the ordinary man is not given that comfort? Who told you that many people in Central Prison, the families cannot afford microwave and mattress and comforter and all those things? Who told you plenty of people there, the families cannot? But it is not allowed. It is not allowed. So for the fact that they even open the gates to allow those kind of big mattresses, you know, I believe because they want it to be, they brought a big, the high one, you know, I'm uncomfortable. It's for me, it is not right. Then give everybody the opportunity to bring their own mattresses, bring their comforters, bring whatever they want, and to the prison. You see, that's why Marvin Cole can stand up and have the audacity to say these kinds of things that they're saying, that because she's a state woman, she should not be kept in a regular jail. Which jail is you keep state persons in? And which jail is for the common people? So the legislator now just believe that they're the same people who pass law to say they are special people, so they must go against the traffic when they are going to work. That's the same people who can think about that thing. They believe they are better than everybody else. Yeah. They believe that once you are in government, you are more important and you are better than other people. So they want to set the bar and the law on them. And that is unacceptable. And I think Liberians should kick against it. That is very unacceptable, Tualu. You know, we'll come back to the arson thing later. But I just
no, that comment on the arson thing.
Yeah, Eduardo, just 1 minute. So the man spoke about Marvin Cole, and he spoke well in that direction. And what I would like to add up here is that not in disagreement, but to add up to what he said. He spoke on one issue of it, the legality of it. I think what Marvin Cole and other people try to do here is to spin the political side of it. Okay, and the councilor said it right. You know, these people, they are abusing the minds of our people. They are disrespecting the ordinary people because they feel that the people do not understand the full reality and the context of all of these things. The legality that when somebody have done wrong, allegedly in the eyes of the law, the person must be held accountable. What they're trying to do, you saw what Marvin Cole, it's not Marvin Cole's first time. In the case of where Benedict should have built some bridge in Bond County, they politicize it. The public work ministry should have satisfied because it has to do with human beings that are going to plow that bridge. And any mistake from the architectural structure or the calculation, everything that will do on that bridge, it has to be with human beings that will plow that bridge. And any mistake, people, is going to be a fatal mistake. They went running with the politics. It is the same way. Okay. So the councilor said it right. And what I just want to add up there is that they are abusing the minds of our people. They want to use the case of Joel Howard Taylor to solidify a vote for 2029. And I think this should not be the direction that we should be taking. If anybody, even you as a lawmaker from the House of Representatives to the Senate, if you are allegedly culpable of a crime, you must be held to the full weight of the law. So people like Marvin Cole coming up with these kind of things, I understand it's not from a legality point, but it's a school a political point. But the council just put everything in the bracket. I just decided to add that point in also.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm going to say this. Yeah, I believe it will backfire because if you listen to if you feel the pulse of the country, most people are in favor of this fight against drug. I cannot play this tape here, Cole, before I go up to you up there. Bashiru, somebody recorded him. There was I don't know if you saw the recording online. If you guys, okay, you're this year. He was talking about Liberia is not that sophisticated to have what you call it to have secret recordings or whatever. And the guy was talking, did you snitch on Madam Jewel Howard Taylor? And they were going back and forth on this thing. Let me ask you a question. Why does Sheikh think that the sophistication is not there for those things to happen, or was he just covering up or showing something on the video tape, or maybe he didn't even know he was being recorded by the other person? Because the way I listened to the tape, the person was trying to get him to say something, hopefully, that could be published. This is Sheikh. This is one of the pictures he took when you were making all that plenty of money. The man said he had 337 million.
Yeah, so Sheikh is a potty mouth. He's vulgar.
Yeah.
He speaks like one of these people that tried he's a poser, like a poser.
Yeah.
He wants to act like he's so tough. He wants to mix the American street English and act like he's like some kind of American gangster.
Yeah.
And this is not the kind of character that a drug cartel will normally approach because he talks too much.
Yeah.
So I would think that he was probably put on by somebody more powerful. I don't think he's the one to introduce the cartel to Jewel. It probably happened the other way around.
Yeah.
Just by listening to how he's carrying himself, because it doesn't make any sense. He sounds really, really silly. And why is this woman even friends with someone like that?
Where you go?
I would never be friends with such a person. That kind of person can't even have my phone number to call me and talk to me on the phone set. Listen to how he carries himself and conducts himself. So that's the first issue I have with the recording. It's a potty mouth. He sounds absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
The African Americans will call him a teether, someone that's pretending to be something that he's not. Right? He's clearly Liberian, trying so hard to talk like a Black American, and you were born and raised in Liberia. It's so embarrassing. And then the vulgarity coming out of his mouth. Also, he's a snitch. He's absolutely a snitch. Nobody in the right mind would think that the Liberian government, if the Fadiga brothers can get on an airplane, go to Hong Kong and wear wire that the government like Liberia can't do wire. You can order wires. You can order wires on Amazon.
Right now.
That boy not stupid. He's just saying those things. There's two things involved. The first thing could be that he set up the whole call to try to exonerate himself, because being a snitch, snitches get stitches. Being a snitch is a dangerous thing. And so maybe he had a friend call him and then, and then you act like you're secretly recording me. Then I will say this, I will talk, and then he's performing. The whole thing was a performance in my mind.
It seems like yes, that's what I felt.
It's not like I'm gonna try to sound like I'm tough, like I'm some kind of cool guy. I mean, what a joke. He came across like he was performing. And then the acting was so bad. So the person who was calling him, his responses, it seemed really scripted, like it was a skit.
Yep.
So I don't believe it was a sincere leaked audio recording. I think he did it. Yeah, and they're talking about me on Facebook. I don't normally go on Facebook, but you came on Facebook with your skit, trying to pretend you didn't see it, and trying to set up a stage, the whole thing was fake. It was fake, just like the cartel with the guns trying to get this. The whole thing is a skit. Ain't nobody stupid yet.
It's a skit. And I won't come to the model answer back into this thing, but I want to come down first to you, Abraham, with Bashiru and some of the people that are being introducing to people. One of the things that people have to understand, the higher you climb, like we just mentioned, there are certain people you got to disengage from. In Liberia, we have this thing where you be man, but you won't be cool with Zogos or you won't be cool with certain people. I'm not saying you don't affiliate with them, but they're not your friends because so many things can go wrong. You're not of that same caliber anymore. Because now certain people look up to you. You can still interact in another way, but you can't go sit there saying, "Oh, places full win with them." At the end of the day, they will smell you. You got nothing to gain from them. They have everything to gain from you or possibly spoil your name. What message will you have to regular Liberian people in the country when you get anybody, you come, you be man, but you just want to hang out with everybody, you don't even know their intention?
Dora, I think that is wrong and that is very, very much bad. You see, Chef Basharu, I don't know what I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but that Basharu guy, I don't want to believe that that guy is deeply into the cartel. I don't want to believe that. Because people that are deeply rooted into the cartel, when you see them, you will know.
But let me talk.
They don't talk like the way Sheikh can talk loosely. Like the way Sheikh can be. This is a guy, how can you say that you are against drugs, but you are in, your hand is in a cookies jar?
And for disclaimer, he's been to jail here in the US for the same drug business.
And you know, this is a situation where Eduardo, like you said, when you are at a certain level, that there's certain people that people expect you for you to meet, for you to interact with. That there's certain people, that there's certain places that people are expecting for you to be.
Exactly.
But not everywhere, at any time, anywhere. That is impossible. But again, this is Sheikh. So I will hold you. This is a guy who went to prison in the great United States. So I don't know how a former vice president can be able to sit down with such a person to interact with, wherein you could just Google the man name and you just found out everything about him. But you allow such a man for him to be your best friend. Dodo, our former vice president, she did not act correctly. She did not act rightly. And shows you must be blamed for every action that's been taken against her.
Thank you. Hello, Abraham. People are cutting deals. Me, I'm going to say this. If you, honorable man, will come back to you. People cutting deals. I don't know why you hesitate too long because the deals are out there. People are talking. Whether you notice or not, people are talking. But honorable man, I don't follow about the arson case though. The government has shot. Well, the Supreme Court has said, listen, go back downstairs, go back to the lower court. You did not file the proper paperwork. But my question is, how can seasoned lawyers not file the proper paperwork? Is that also common?
It is common because that's what lawyers will do, and sometimes look, the law is so predictable. Sometimes you will wonder, but again, that you can't judge anybody's practice. All right, but when you read some of the petitions that are filed, you already obviously know the outcome, and then sometimes you say, but man, I think these lawyers supposed to have known better. All right, so like the court said, you file prohibition to first, the prohibition that for two things. One is to stop someone from proceeding in a capacity that he has no jurisdiction over. So you have no jurisdiction to proceed on that capacity. So you have to stop that person from going ahead. Or The person has jurisdiction over that particular subject matter, but the person is going the wrong way. The regular rules that the person is supposed to follow, the person is not following those regular rules. The person is doing something that is outside of the regular rules. So you have to stop that judge or that person, because it can also be an administrative officer or anybody else, from going that route. All right. So that is what prohibition, and those are simple things. And that is why the court questioned is that first, did the judge have jurisdiction over the case that he was sitting over? Yes, none of them argued that he didn't have jurisdiction. It is an arson case. It is before the right court. It's before the right judge. Did he have jurisdiction over the jurors? Yes. Okay, so the jurisdiction matter is not there. The lawyers know that, because none of them they didn't put in a petition that the court should stop the judge because the judge is outside of his jurisdiction, that case is not under his jurisdiction, or the jurors are not under his jurisdiction. So that was not it. So the second thing the court asked is, then, did the judge proceed by the wrong rules? Did he do things out of the ordinary that what was supposed to happen? And the court also said no, because you are having a trial. It comes to the judge's attention that there is jury misconduct. And this one was not jury tampering, it was jury misconduct. That one of the jurors misconducted himself. And he misconducted himself in the presence of the other jurors. And what was the misconduct? That the jury had already formed an opinion whilst the case has not been forwarded to them for deliberation. That is a misconduct. Because remember, when we're talking about all these jury things, I said that even when the jurors are sequestered and they are in their holding place, they don't discuss the case after everyday case. They are not allowed among themselves to even discuss it. You go sleep, or you go read a book, or do whatever you do, but you're not allowed to discuss the case. The only time the jurors can allow to discuss the case when the judge now says, now you can go into your deliberation room and bring your verdict. That's the only time you can bring all the things. That's why you take notes as a juror, and then you can do everything. So this particular juror, the jurors are allowed during trial to ask questions. Instead of asking questions, the juror rendered an opinion on one of the evidence that was shown on one of the person accused, and the juror opined that, but this is not the person that accused. That person looked like Chanime. You cannot make that. I mean, you already make on your mind that if another accused there, so obviously before the trial even go nowhere, you now already make that is not the accused, that different person look like Chanime. And you said
Councilor Ma, for clarity, because you say something. So the reason, I just want to know the reason before you go on. The reason they don't want you to discuss the case at all, is it fair to say the judge wants you to get the totality of the case before you make a decision?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because that is not only, that's the law everywhere around the world. Okay. Because you cannot start forming opinion on bits and pieces of the case when you don't have everything before you. Because you could prejudice even your colleagues in the jury. You could prejudice people even long before then. The rest of the thing they're listening to now is just nonsense. You understand? So it is everywhere in every jurisprudence, every jurisdiction, that you do not discuss until the judge now sends you for deliberation. All right? So you don't have the full case before you. But the case I just started, witness on the stand. First witness, they show the evidence of one of the presidents, say they took the photos for the president who accused of burning the Capitol building. One of the jurors in the midst of all the jurors said, but the person like Channy man, they're not the man down there. You can't render that opinion. So they brought it to and they had to raise it. So the prosecutor said, but judge, this juror cannot, and the way he said it in front of everybody, he's prejudicing everybody because people can leave from here and the jurors. So the judge, in his wisdom, halted the case, did the full investigation, disbanded, and not only disbanded that juror, but disbanded the entire jury, because he said it happened in open court, and that he doesn't think the rest of the jurors will be impartial. So he disbanded the entire jury. Now the question the court asked is, did the judge follow any wrong rule by doing so? The court said no, because the law is, once there is jury misconduct brought before the judge has to stop everything and investigate that. And where the judge, didn't say where the lawyers or where the judge feels that the jurors cannot be impartial, that the jurors are now compromised, the law mandates the judge to disband the jury and call for a new trial. And that is what the judge did. So the judge did not go outside any law. But then so the court said, then this prohibition will not lie because the action already finished happening and the judge did not follow. But was there other remedy? Yes. If the judge passes a decision in the course of the trial that the trial has not ended, you have a remedy to file certiorari. That is, the chamber justice can review the judge's decision and see whether it's right or wrong. Or you can wait and take an exception and file a formal appeal. Put all those things in your appeal, and then the court will look at all those processes and see whether the judge were wrong way down the line, and it will overturn your decision. All right. But to go for prohibition, the court said it is not correct. And you know, and you say, but didn't they know that? They know that. But sometimes, you know, and that's what Blair said about the FDA case that took 11 years. All right. In fact, the case took almost 13 years because it took about 2 years or 3 years to finish from the lower court. And these things come to delay and delay and delay. You know, I understand. And maybe there will be something for a different, you know, different forum. But, you know, sometimes when we look at the Constitution, even this case, you know, I don't agree that every constitutional issue that is raised before a judge, the judge must back the case and send it to the Supreme Court. In my mind, that is not what our Constitution says. Because Article 60, I think it's 62, let me just be sure. Article 66 of our Constitution says, the Supreme Court shall be the final arbiter of constitutional issues and shall exercise final appellate jurisdiction in all cases. Let me just stop there. Final arbiter of constitutional issues. So in my mind as a lawyer, when there are constitutional issues, lower courts can handle those constitutional issues, but the Supreme Court will be the final one to make that final decision. Wow. If people are not satisfied. All right. But what is being practiced, and it says in somebody said Article 2. Article 2 says when there is law, treaty, or any other thing passed by the legislature, it is only the Supreme Court can say that law, that treaty, that convention is unconstitutional. So for me, when it comes to the passage of a law or signing treaty or those ones, the Supreme Court is the only court to that original jurisdiction. Because no other court can say the law is unconstitutional. But constitutional issues, like you say, it is double jeopardy. Because that was the matter why they passed this all along and kept it for the Supreme Court to listen to it. Because it says it is the double jeopardy will attach. Because the judge disbanded the jury when he tried them again, it is double jeopardy. All right, that is a constitutional issue, yes, but that is not a law or a treaty or everything to be originally placed before the Supreme Court. And I believe the higher justice could have handled that matter. All right, if you're not satisfied, yeah, you can go on appeal, because sometimes some people can look at the law and the reasoning of the court and say, look, let's just continue. But everything, even in the lower court, I can tell you, by the time you're being in trial, somebody just raised some kind of constitutional issue, the judge said, okay, but then let's stop. They pack that matter, they send it to the Supreme Court. They will stay there for 3, 4, 5 years before they hear that constitutional issue, then they go back, they say they'll go continue. You know, for me, it wastes time. It wastes time.
But Councilor, before I go to
yeah.
So before we go ahead, because this is important now. So can the Supreme Court not legislate, but re-adjudicate and say, you know what, wrong, going forward, or no ruling comes up, we are not taking uncompleted cases to the Supreme Court on constitutional issue. The case must be completed before we address any constitution. Can it make that decision?
The Supreme Court can do that because it has the power to interpret the law. The Supreme Court can interpret Article 67 of the Constitution, 66 of the Constitution. The Supreme Court can say, in our view, because I say we are the final arbiter on constitutional issue. Final means there may be a beginning.
Yeah.
So it's not every constitutional issue that somebody raised, then you run up to the Supreme Court. So the judge can handle it down there. If you are not satisfied, then you can come up on appeal from that judge's ruling. But you know, the Supreme Court itself has passed in its own rules which I think is some of the problems in the rules of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has said that no single justice sitting in chambers should pass on any constitutional issue. So when a constitutional issue goes to the justice in chamber, once you raise constitutional issue, whether the issue is simple for the justice to handle or not, they got to pack it and send it to the Supreme Court. And I think that particular rule is some of the, you see, we are always talking about speedy trial, speedy trial, speedy trial.
That's right.
But these little things, and I may be wrong in my interpretation and understanding of the law, but as I always say, until we challenge some of these things and test it before the court itself, then let it become clear. But once the Constitution says in Article 67 that is the final arbiter on constitutional issues, but Article 2 says when there is law, treaty, convention, anything, it is only the Supreme Court. Then I believe you are challenging a law passed by the legislature or a treaty signed by the legislature or anything else like that, it is only the Supreme Court. So that's original jurisdiction, because no other court can decide that it's unconstitutional. But when somebody say my right to freedom of movement is hindered, so if somebody's able to travel and stop there and say, but I'm a constitutional right to travel, you are infringing on my right for free movement. They will wait for Supreme Court. You say nothing. Wait to Supreme Court to wait for 4-5 years.
I think that decision weakens the court. The decision weakens the lower court. By some measure. Thank you. Honorable Nanuga, thank you for being here tonight. The Austin case, I'm pretty sure you have been following. Let's have your take on this case. The government has won this position. Fanadi Cooper and his team, they filed the wrong prohibition, if you want to call it that. And it's going back down to the lower court. Hopefully, nobody else finds another constitutional issue. Now it goes back to the Supreme Court again, spends another 2 years again. And I think Councilor Mai is onto something here. For expedience sake, that law can be adjusted to make sure it be the final, and let the case go on. Let's hear your take on Nanuga. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. What Ambrose has spoken about here tonight is like absolute, especially when you had to do the comparison of Article 2 and 66. Just yesterday, we're having a conversation with some senior lawyers in Nigeria on a conversation that was surrounding the law and the election. And I came to realize that the lower courts have become so powerful and they tend to release the Supreme Court from so much overbearing. And to be honest with you, I don't know how we got into this contraction where every single thing by interpreting anything constitutional, boom, it goes to Supreme Court. So it has put on the docket so much that the Supreme Court is overwhelmed and is seen to be lazy. But in actual sense, the lower courts are not exercising the kind of muscles they should muscle to go about testing and interpreting things that could actually be interpreted easily by them. But on the other hand, in the case of some other countries in Africa and West Africa, they have a maiden court called the appellate court, the appeal court. And the appeal court handles a lot of the stuff that leads from the magistrates to the circuit court, and then it lands at the appeal court. Most time, things that get to the appeal court never goes to the Supreme Court. And in Liberia, we do not have that gap. We move straight from the circuit court to the Supreme Court. And so the circuit courts don't play that role of touching the constitutional issues or interpretation of the Constitution the constitutional matters. So no matter how small it is, it becomes a case on the docket of the Supreme Court. And that is actually one of the reasons why in our jurisprudence, delay is even worse in terms of how we get justice. So even though we say justice delayed, is not justice denied, but sometimes you end up being dead before you get justice posthumously. And that's not what we should be seeking. Moving from that point, from that frontier, I'll say to you that there are some simple things that you know is right, especially as lawyers, but you still push it to the Supreme Court. I will give you an instance. When somebody says to you, I'm going to challenge your citizenship at the level of the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court even accepts to take that case, there is a problem. Because to challenge anyone's citizenship, it has to be between the immigration and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I'm a Minister of Justice and a whole lot more before the case even gets to perform itself at the level of the court. But It doesn't happen here. Anybody can take a case to the Supreme Court and it begins. But in the case of the Assen ruling, it just tells you that the, it's consistently reminding the lower courts that they have greater roles to play. When the Supreme Court have to go through search and send it back to the lower court. But for the Republic of Liberia, it is a victory that the system works no matter what. And that as it is, we have a lot to do within our judicial reform sector, but something good is happening. Beyond that, Dualu, Ambrose has touched a lot of stuff over the last period of time that I've listened carefully. The other day, we were all turning ourselves into lawyers and laughing. But there were fundamental things that he keeps saying here that the Liberian public is benefiting from. And even us online do benefit from it. Yeah, apart from the fact that I'm a great reader, I do a lot of research on all academics, but it still doesn't make me an authority on the issues because I have to learn. I'll say this to you. We need to begin to train and retrain the judges to be able to get the kind of reform we need, to be able to release the Supreme Court from its situation. I know the legislature is already discussing about the appeal court situation, but it has to come into effect as soon as possible. If not, as Liberia's democracy advances, so will the legal system become busy. As we increase the number of businesses in Liberia from service to manufacturing, so will the court system become busy. As Liberians and non-Liberians continue to acquire land and build houses, the judiciary system will also become very busy. And whether we like it or not, it could overwhelm. We see that the government is doing much in building new courts, training new judges, and a whole lot. Do we have enough qualified judges to man those seats in those particular buildings we are calling court? Or are we just putting them there to fill in the spaces so that we can get job done? Those are the kind of things that are more concerning. But as it relates to the Assen case, we must tell God thank you that it is not being swept under the carpet. And most importantly, that whatever the lawyers are doing to delay this, the courts are saying we have to get a result. And that's what we're getting today.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nanuga. We are making some progress. I know we're a little bit delayed up here. We're going to talk a little bit. Somebody called me today. It's a small social issue. I'm going to actually start with you. With the court cases, a lot of stuff happening in the country. Somebody said this to me today. The man said he living in America. He went to Liberia, and he had 3 children. And the children supposed to count 2 of the children out for him. So he asked a question. Before you start child support in Liberia, you want to know whether they must do DNA before the gender ministry ask you for child support. Is that something that should be implemented in Liberia? Before we go to the phone line, we're just going to take one round. They call, what do you think? There should be DNA before? The man said 2 of the children out for him. He's very angry.
I mean, some people, if they had done DNA with them, they would not have fathers. Their fathers would not have raised them. Plenty of people, especially the people that like to be involved, the fathers that were polygamous. So you can't satisfy a woman, you got plenty. So the women in too, they used to get their own satisfaction. And some of those girls were the ages of their grandsons. You understand? So that they're not new.
Yeah.
I think that science has come into play. And I think now, more than ever in history, it's less likely for women to give children the wrong child to the men. But this thing acting like it's new, it's brand new. It's not brand new. That's something that's been happening since Kingdom Come. Plenty of people raise their grandchildren as their children because of the way our cultures have been.
Yeah.
And it just is what it is. I don't think personally. I don't care. Like it's like choose your partners wisely. The bigger issue here is why are men and women having children people that they don't respect or don't trust or whatever. People have to take some kind of responsibility. Bringing children in the world with people that should be temporary, you're making permanent decisions with temporary passing by people. There's just so much nastiness involved. the promiscuity, the diseases, the unplanned children, all of that, right?
Yeah.
This goes back to the conversation we were having yesterday, gender minister telling people how they should behave in a marriage. These are choices that people have the right to make. And I'm not, I can sit in my position and say this is what I believe in for my home and what choices I made for me and my husband. Everybody's not like that. I don't think I should impose my values on other people.
True.
That's why I asked the question yesterday: is the gender minister speaking within her capacity as gender minister? Are you the moral compass for how people should conduct themselves in a society? I don't know if that's the case, but yeah, there's a lot of people having children or putting children on people because they got means. You go, you 19 years old, you going out with some kind of 50-year-old man, so you got your 20-year-old boyfriend that you love. You get pregnant, you go tell the 50-year-old man for you, so you can take care of yourself and your 20-year-old, and that's the society that we've created, um, for the young people. And if you are having children with people just because they fine, just because you can't control yourself, that's ridiculous. I don't feel sorry for anybody that's going for paternity tests. I'm saying all of that to say I don't feel sorry for anybody that go and have paternity test a child not for them, except for where they were married. They were married in a home, and then the wife went outside. That's a different thing. But you out here playing around in the streets with people,
True. Yeah.
you get what you get. Now, if that your wife do it, then I'll agree. Then we should all cry for the person because that's a different level of wickedness. But you in a polygamous marriage, or you are running around, sleeping around with everybody, that's it. And one of the things I want to say, in a polygamous home, any of your wives have child for you. You're not
Good for
able
you.
to question it traditionally.
Yeah.
And we know why our ancestors put those rules into place.
Yeah.
Because no man got that kind of stamina to really take care of 3 women. It's not possible. So all that cultural thing y'all can be talking, y'all know very well something else going on there. But that's a different story. Trust
Married
me.
woman, married making
After
bomb
Nema,
pasta. Yeah.
we got and I also got people in Guinea. I know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let's say now you 70 years old, you with 25-year-old woman, you think she's sitting down there with
Oh, you mean you know that level of history?
Yo, she's not
That this
lower.
is this is culture. There's not even history. The culture that something that happening to day has always happened. So that other one, you in a polygamous home, don't do paternity tests for your children. You bought that trouble.
Yeah.
That's one.
And there
The
are so
second,
many. Go ahead, go.
let me land, Wally. And I know
Sorry.
that you like cutting me off when I don't even get a chance to say what I say. Now the second time you try, man, I'm allowing it this time. You give other people whole 30 minutes to go on and on. The other thing I would say too is the Chris White.
Go ahead, man.
Y'all love me.
Go ahead.
It's your choice.
So I don't want to come here because I say it's terrible. But it's the truth. It's how I feel, right?
Yeah.
And if you passing around in the streets, go get paternity tests. Because your side chick is not she's not only your side chick, she's plenty of people's side chick.
Facts.
When we say man business, we mean we're making business out of man. And when you're making business, you got plenty of options. So y'all sitting down there thinking you're Matt Daddy, you being Matt on. That's what it is. So next time, wear protection. Plan your children. Don't go sowing seeds all over the place. All right, I say my own. Now you can.
Ibrahim will come to you because a lot of men in America are crying. This is a serious problem. I think I know about 3 cases personally, but I've heard at least 6 different cases where somebody try to bring their children in, and sometimes 4 children, only 1 there for them, or sometimes 2 for them, the other 2 not for them. We had a lady that had to run into Lofa all the shamefulness. She said she was very ashamed. My thing is, Cole made some salient points. If you're out there and you don't ground a woman, when I mean grounding, I mean respectfully, let me quantify it. Meaning where you give her the dignity that she deserves to be a wife, but you just keeping her there where she's not entirely sure. Can you fault her for you not being the father of those children? Especially when it comes to coming to oversee, because most of the time that's what the DNA thing and getting. The guy called me today, literally crying. He said 2 of his 3 children are not his. You don't know how it's possible.
Married to her, Dwalu? Is that his wife?
No, he was not married.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they were not married. But you say you're going to marry her.
This person can't just answer this person with
Yeah.
I'm not bitter towards men. I love men. I'm not a homosexual woman. I love men. Don't say I'm bitter towards men.
No.
Most of my friends are men. My husband's my best friend. I adore men. I love male energy. So don't come tell me say I hate men. I'm just saying what I know. In fact, what I'm saying
Do I look question that? Do I look question that?
No, that's somebody in the thread.
Oh, somebody in the comment section say I don't want to say I don't hate men. I love men. I love my husband, but I love male energy, and many of my friends are men. I'm just not promiscuous, and I have discipline, and I respect my marriage. That doesn't mean I hate men. And if I call people out for being promiscuous and nasty, it doesn't mean I hate them. It's an observation. It's not hate.
Absolutely.
That's all I want. Thank you.
100%. So that you for me, my brother. Now, what will happen to those children? I want to all but Nanuga to answer that question. So you answer the first one. Then I want to know what happened to that children all about Nanuga.
Yeah. So far as the children is not mine. I took such a decision just a few years ago.
Damn.
As so far, no woman on earth has the right for you to be able to give the child to just a new person. No woman. So if I found out that you and that child, you are gone.
You're going.
So let us
put it or the gone.
The going. Let us be able to put it in the better case. If that mean without better, so far as you put it on your document that the children are for you, and a DNA test is conducted, and then that DNA test can only two or one out of the three are his. The American embassy will only allow that one to be able to come.
Of course.
So when I want to come, I am done with you, the woman. I will have some sympathetic mind for the children because they did not pray for this. All right? So I will be responsible still. I will still call the children my children. Still, I will still help them with letter of nothing, but I will make them to understand when they reach that age. When they reach that age, I will make them to understand that your mom duped me, your mom did not behave fair to me. And that is the reason why you are not here with me.
Okay. All right, my brother.
Don't go off of it. Let Abraham talk. Keep going. I enjoy you.
we on time, yeah.
Look, look. The same case happened to me just before I could become okay. The same case happened to me just years ago. Wow. I wanted to send for my daughter. This child that I've been knowing for her to be my daughter, years in, years out. In the child street from kindergarten all the way. Something just told me, and this is what I will advise all of our men that are in the United States that want to send for their children, for them to be able to do. Conduct your own separate DNA test before you can be able to file in for that woman, because when you file in for that nature and then the embassy found out that child is not yours, the embassy can feel about you certain way.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I don't think that much, but hey, Brian, I'll beg you with the time.
Okay. But I'm just saying to just cut it short, I'm saying that these women in our country, the women that are not behaving fair to us, they are not behaving just to us.
Don't get called started. Relax.
No, I said some of the women
So
are not saying
okay, no problem. All about
And
Nanuga.
sometimes they don't know, right? Sometimes
Yeah,
they
so
don't.
but that's the
best-
argument. That's the argument
sometimes
she's
they don't
making.
know.
Now, is it possible, Honorable Nanuga, for the woman not to know who the children father is, or based on how we dissect these things? Because if and the thing is, I think it's wickedness at another level. You bring these children into my house, I'm supporting them. You see me every day, and you know that I'm my children. That I'm wicked that Honorable Nanuga. I can hear you before. Answer the question, my man.
So, no, but I think my stuff was sticking. But truth be told, 95% of the time the women know who the power of that child is.
Okay.
Most of the time, I won't
There are
know.
5% always saying they may not know.
But majority, overwhelming majority.
I think majority, but a lot of times, Chris, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Chris, think about it in the context of
That the thing you doing on level. When you interfering now, you be complaining. Because we love you so much.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Chris, but the promiscuity, they don't know because they're going around.
But you, talking.
Truth be told, because promiscuity, they don't even know who the father is, but they know that the man in the horse, that's not the pap.
Oh, okay.
Amen.
So, let me say this to you. The children have no blame in this.
True.
No. I am today taking care of like 2 or 3 kids who father and mother had the same kind of situation. And I know what position the parents, what the father did to separate himself. One of them, the guy later came back, and after like 2 years, he took his daughter and he's serious with her now. Because she ends up doing far better than his own child that he took to America. But the other 2 kids, they're not in university. I know how they would have felt dejected and rejected. And this woman knew. She finally told the guy, "Say I'm sorry, but it's just that the man who are born by while we're married, he went to Cote d'Ivoire." Wait, did he go to Cote d'Ivoire the first time after the first child? He came back again. Now he went to Cote d'Ivoire the second child. That is when they have the worst lies to tell. But the children are innocent.
Yeah.
Now, in my case, if I happen to have had the opportunity of having a wife and she gives birth to a child, and funny enough, we later find that child is now mine at the age of 10, and I know that child was birthed in my hand, only one thing will make me keep that child as my child. If the woman openly say, "You know what, I messed up, and I messed up, and I messed up," and not trying to find excuses.
Yeah, but that's impossible.
No excuse works.
They can tell you that, huh?
No, I come here. Then the child is still my child.
Yeah.
Or she finds the latter way out and send people, parents say, "Listen, you go talk to him. I know I messed up." But when you come to say, "What do you know how someone else can want become the victim?" That is the part I will not stand. But for who I am, the love I have for kids, it's natural that I will accept them. Now, Abraham said a lot of good things here, which are true. We cannot take the dirty water with the baby inside and throw it away. That should be the key focus of every single thing we do. And you know the funniest thing, Dwalu? I'll tell you this. There's a lady who happened to have played the DV and won, and she had her 4 children on the DV. She left, went to the States. I think this was 2011, something like that. Fortunately for her, she filed for her husband 2 years later. And it was so easy because she and the children went first. So she filed and the husband went to America. 2 years, doing well. Children in school, only one was still in high school. The other 3 were all almost done. Two were done at the university, one was in university, and one was in high school. Again, something happened that the girl and her father had to go and do something. They wanted a DNA test. I can't remember what was that. But they found that the girl was not the man's biological daughter. That guy was hysterical. They caught him almost committing suicide. But guess what? This girl it was now in a position to take care of that man. She rejected her mom and hugged her father for being there for her. So the situation can be crumbling based on how it begins and how it ends. And it doesn't have to be because of promiscuity or because of polygamy, Cole. Honestly, it just have to be people who have character and principles, and they cherish it like the way you cherish your character and principle. You know exactly who you are with your husband, and you love. Look, I saw you carry yourself. Listen, I saw you for the first time in Brussels, and I'm going to say this on the show. Dwalu, the way Cole carried herself, she won my heart. First with her dress code, two with her expressions. In fact, the first day we saw, we hugged, like say we knew ourselves for a long time. But beyond that, I saw somebody who had class and dignity. And I'm not saying this show and Cole, you know that since then, you know how I take you, how I see you, when I see you, what I do with you. Because I see virtue. Not some say it, but don't practice it. And that is what is failing us. And what Abraham said about doing DNA tests before DNA tests, that's 100% true. DNA test before DNA test, meaning that before you get a situation, know what you're dealing with. So that when you get a situation, you will know who you're dealing with.
Thank you.
And I mean, I can go further than that, but I mean, that's how I see it.
Yeah,
but it's not going to end. Hold on.
Okay.
Setting is not going to end.
Thank you. You're done. Harris, stop making preparation. Honorable man going to close out. Honorable man, you have the two tough questions though. The first one, you would not know personally, but you would maybe as a man can answer it. Do women really know what it does to a man when you determine that a child is not, if not yours? And number two, if there was a national DNA test, what percentage of Liberia population do you believe would be determined that it's not for them?
Well, I'm not the Minister of Social Affairs, so that's my question. But look, let me just say this, and then I'll beg to be excused from the show because I have some guests, and then I have to.
No, but please let's know you are doing this email with that statement. Is it?
Boss man. Valo, the only thing I can tell you is that look, parenthood, being a parent, is completely different from baby ma and baby paism. Dagu English?
Dagu English.
Baby maism and baby paism.
Yeah.
Dagu English called?
Dagu English.
Dagu English, yeah?
Yeah.
You can be anybody can be baby ma, anybody can be baby pa. It doesn't make you a parent. You know? Look, nobody coming to sit here and act like they are perfect and holy and all that, you know. But Liberia is what it is. And I mean, the social interaction in Liberia is there, even everywhere else, America,
everywhere, yeah,
all those kinds of things. But what matters is that look, being a parent doesn't necessarily mean that you give birth. Sometimes it hurts when you believe that you are the biological father. You know, there's no way you can say that I'm the mother, that the mother would give the birth. But if I believe that if anybody comes to love that child or believe that that child is their child, no matter what it is. You know, I've seen situations where sometimes even the man has refused to accept the woman anymore, but has taking care of the child and consider the child as his child. You know, even though he decided the mother should take her trouble, go away, but he takes care of the child. And to the extent that he tempted to go to court to try to get the child. Because, you know, if you can tell who the child's real father is, and the real father is not in the child's life, and he has been there all along, he wants to fight for custody of that child, you know, because it is so. I believe that is what parenthood is about. You know, these things will happen. Even you can be, look, we are human beings. Human beings, we can be deceptive until something, so nobody's going to be perfect. So for me, on that social issue, that is my point. You know, I just want to close on another social issue. that probably Monday I'm going to elaborate on, but I need Liberian people to think about it. And I'm not going to be condemning or doing anything about people of God. But these people of God, who they call men of God, I don't know the rest of us, if we're not children of God too. Me, I know I'm a man of God because I'm a man. And I'm God's child, so I'm a man of God. But I'm responding to, Bishop Carter Brown, that had a prayer service on Wednesday. First thing you say, God gave you prophecy in 1999 that the country was going to war was going to come to the country. So you have to mobilize women to pray, and they pray until 2022, and war did not come to the country. They were coming from the northeast and all that thing. And now you say that Liberia is on a time bomb. With all the everything is look, political differences. You see, one thing people don't know. You see people like the Mo Ali, the Patrick Horner, and all these people that were hardline, even Christopher Ananuga, that will protect their party and the party interest. And the people like Kalasco and Eugene Nangbe and the rest of them that will protect their party interest. All these things that we do and we hear and they say. Go see us on football field. Go see us sitting down to our regular joint spots that we sit down in Monrovia. Go see us sitting down on 19th Street. Go see us sitting down in our parliament or our assembly. You understand? We do this thing, we show all the things outside, but go see every time you can see Delon and Kalasco when they're ready, how they can be voting one another. You understand? So when people sit there and try to, you see, and these people, these men of God, when you get up and say the country is on a time bomb. Why? Because of political differences? There will always be political differences.
Attention.
No matter what we do in that country, CDC people will never say Unity Party people doing correct. Unity Party people will never say CDC people did correct, whether you like it or not. That is it. But we have a huge chunk of independent people. Not every Liberian belongs to CDC or Unity Party. We have a huge chunk of what we call in America, you see, they say the Republican, Democrat, get independent, right? Everybody is swaying for the independence. If you mind political things and then we come and categorize and bring our country down, you are a bishop. You proclaim with your mouth that our country is standing on a time bomb. How do you expect investors to have confidence to come to our country? How do you expect them to come for them to create jobs for the young people to work? Why? Because when they arrest somebody, there's disagreement. Then you say the government must listen to the people and start to change its approach. What's about you asking also the other people to be sensitive and nationalistic to the government and also help the government to fight the crimes that they're fighting? Why everything they say there, it must be the government that must change? Why the other people can't change? Because in Liberia, we are used to this one thing over and over. So everybody who wants to make change and you ruffle our status quo, you shake the way we used to do things, you try to change us, then you become the bad person. So the government now has become the bad person. Because why? They are doing things that people would normally let go. Now you're arresting people, you're doing this. So the bishop gets up and say our country is on a time bomb.
Based on what?
I don't know. What time bomb? Why do people just stoking violence and want to bring the Liberian people? We are every day talking about trying to reorient our people, try to put positive thinking in the minds of our people to go forward. Every time they want to speak, they carry our mind backward to war. That we will soon go back to war. We will soon go back to war. What kind of nonsense is that? Sorry to say. But I mean the men of God, but I must say a man of God. What kind of nonsense is that? What time God tell you say Liberia is on a time bomb? I mean, I don't accept that. And these and the leaders too must be called to order sometimes. You understand? Well, they must be called to order sometimes. And all these political, we should understand we are in. There's some people can get us say Liberia is divided. The country is Liberia is not divided.
They got no idea what division
So the
is.
same way I can sit on this program and disagree with somebody like Eugene Language, disagree with something, but I can tell you, I told you on this program that he is like a brother-in-law to me because he and my wife are very close. When we get on, we get everywhere else, we are brothers. On ideas, we may differ. That's all we do. And everybody push their ideas forcefully. It doesn't mean the country is divided. That the people who are there, that is why we must be responsible citizens, because we give the people a wrong impression that this country is going to burn, this country is going to collapse, this country is going to do this. When we're feeling, when we go sit down in our corner, all of us sit down, we drink beer together. We do things together. But the people who we are put on the street, they may be fighting one another, but we sit down with the leaders now, we can't sit down with beating. Then they say the country is divided. That is bad. And I can tell you, Dwalu, if you are in Monrovia anytime, go sit to most of our popular places that we all sit together. Go on the football field on Sunday morning or Saturday morning. Go to Peaceville Old Timer Field on Saturday morning. Go to Alpha Old Timer Field on Sunday morning. And you see the same people then playing the football, sitting down, finish playing the football, all of us sitting down together. They need to lie, everybody, but we will not agree politically. But everything else, we are friends. I think it's going too far for our leaders to be putting war and chaos. We are going back, and the country is on the time bomb. What time bomb? We should stop these things, man.
Yeah,
we should. So okay. So the pressure must be. Bakala must just raise your hand and say, okay, saying that how Liberian people want it, let's leave it. Let's leave it. Is that what you want? Is that what will make us happy? So okay, that's how it is. And Ellen Johnson can't put people in jail. George Biaka, he run behind anybody. Why you running behind all the people? Why you putting people in jail? That which one? So okay, say I want to let leave it. Is that a country we want? Is that a country we want? If God can speak to you on another channel like that other channel you and God talking, you must switch it. Go to different channel. I beg you, Chief. Go to different channel.
Thank you.
Yeah, that won't catch my heart today because we're in the news.
No, it's a good catch heart. It's a good catch heart. But I'm going to say this. Let me continue to pray.
I just want to buttress what Ambrose is saying, because people will say, oh, you see, Eugene Nangbe is a very friendly person.
Yeah.
I worked with him. He was my boss. He was Minister of Transport. I was Deputy for Land and Rail. Very, very intelligent guy. Eugene, when he's loyal to somebody, he's loyal to them. So the things that Ambrose is saying is true. Many of my friends, people that I love, are in CDC. Many, many friends of mine are in CDC because they're Liberians, and I know them, and I've grown to build relationships with them. So when I talk on here, I've not ever had anybody from CDC really disrespect me the way that tiny 1% do. There is a hateful element in Liberia that have really crossed the line. And I want to just bring this up to Alu, because I don't know if it's psychiatric issues, but the big part is the Unity Party and the CDC, we disagree ideologically, principally, who should be president, who should not be president, this and that. We go back and forth. But I don't really see the visceral hatred like I see coming from a small group of people. Something will happen, they will take it and put it on their head, and seditionists don't even like y'all. Trying to make themselves relevant, they lie. False advocacy. I call it lie-vocacy. They make up stories, and then they to get attention. That's a different thing. And Ambrose, what you're saying is correct. But I think what we'll also have to address is not only this pastor. There are, in fact, people trying to put gasoline and fan flames in places there's no gas and no fire.
Absolutely.
They don't even know anything about the country. They left from Boutwell, went to Guinea or Ivory Coast, straight to America, barely speaking English. They don't know Liberia at all. In their minds, all they remember about the country is war. So they take that trauma and that unresolved psychological trauma,
Seriously.
and then they want to project it in the most toxic, vile way back onto the country. And what I've noticed is the people who went through trauma in the war but remained in Liberia, they had an opportunity to heal because they got to see the country get back to normal gradually. They got to see the pieces put back together gradually. But the people who are stuck in trauma, that left, that didn't go, get to see the normalization of the society, the ones who are trapped in places like Minneapolis and Philadelphia, or especially Brooklyn Park in Philadelphia, right? Those people, not all of them, I'm talking about a specific element of very angry people. Those people need to be addressed. They need to be addressed by all of the people who are politically conscious in Liberia, and they need to be told that their toxic, hateful memories of Liberia, those vile behaviors, are no longer acceptable. The people that live in Liberia rejected Alex Cummings, who was not a bad guy, because he surrounded himself with these vile elements. And because of them, Cummings was rejected because of the people and their hate speech that they portrayed and projected onto Cummings. I don't think that stuff was coming from Cummings. It was coming from that element around him. And I just wanted to point that out. But it's a terrible thing. But Ambrose, very good point. The majority of people that are politically involved in Liberia are not full of hate.
Can I have 30 seconds?
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't say this, but on Tuesday, I had to take some of the Liberian delegations who came along with me for these investment conversations in Nigeria with Nigerian investors and Cameroonians.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to go back, and I had to stay with one of my other staff. When I got to the airport, there was some minutes to 7, and I met Kalasco at the airport. He said, "Oh, Chief, you going?" I said, "No, I'm going." He said, "Bro, but you going?" I said, "No, I probably supposed to go, but I have to go back." Now I said, "What's up?" He said, "Oh, we're checking you. We're going now." I said, "Where the chief?" I mean, former President Joy Manawia.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, he's at the VIP." I said, "Okay." So I went there, security and others. I said hi. We greeted. He said, "Oh, sit." I sat. He said, "How's the government?" I said, "We're doing fine." We spoke lengthily on a lot of stuff. We laughed and chatted. And Liberians came watching because I'm sure they are looking at UP and CDC. And we were so cordial because we may be differing on ideology, which change with time and event, but principles will not change.
Right.
And I waited, we chatted until they came to tell Chief we're about to board. Then he said, "Oh, Krizo, see you later, man." We shook hands and we separated and went. That is Liberia we're looking for.
Yep.
That's Liberia we want to see. But it is glaring that President Weah invited me and the Apiton to his house during the second round to his office to see how we can talk about endorsement on the rest. It didn't happen. Does that make us enemies? No. So, for those things that Dalu said and you compounded them, Cole, I can tell you for free that we stand on the principles of governing on the UP-led government by President Joseph Boakai because we lead there will be changes.
Yeah.
And as these changes unfold, it will resonate around the world with Liberians and non-Liberians. It will naturally change mind and change attitude. I will just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, the experiences is plentiful like that. Even me myself, so now when I see little seditions, all the people say, "Oh, when you come to the country, we will do that." I just laugh. When I'm in Liberia, the seditions will buy me food. All the people them. In fact, when Koji came here to Boston, he spent the entire day with me. I rented a limousine, took him to a beautiful restaurant. He and I were together for like 12 hours. I went to Liberia and said, "Man, how do come?" He paid for my food the entire time. Well, they said, "Man, don't buy food, I'll buy it for you." What people don't understand is, look, I love President Weah. People don't even know this. For football, Benin, what I believe that he doesn't have the intellect to govern the country. And that does not mean this. You don't understand that. This is the confusion, and I believe he cannot govern the country. But when it comes to issue of football, I deify the man. Because when we were growing up, President Weah was our own hero.
Of course.
And some people tend to forget this. But governing a country is not the same as kicking a football. This is the distinction people don't understand to make. Where will see me, even my girl, I know my girl wife personally, and Vivian, and we interact with everybody. It's not a personal thing. Yeah, Vivian was here in Massachusetts with law. She went to Brandeis University here. She and my wife, they were always, this is normal stuff. But some people don't understand these things. And I think everybody, the issue about Liberia going forward, for me, I want the British mind to govern the country. And there should be nothing wrong with that. And sometimes that's what people don't understand. You cannot put your eating pain on another man pocket when the man cannot govern the country right. We can't go beyond. That's what we mean by that. But when it comes to kicking football, we always bow to King George because he was the man for Liberia for football, not for leadership. Yeah, for Africa, but not for leadership. And that's the distinction they're not able to make. Once again, man, when you talk, you say, oh, you hear the man because you can measure to the man level. I'm not supposed to measure the President we are level. It's not about measuring up to a person's level. He was a soccer star. He made some money. He went completely broke. He made some whatever he did. But I can eat anything I want to eat today. Anywhere globally. So sometimes you don't have to be able to see level where you can eat. So no petty thing, we need to stop it. At the end of the day, we can disagree on politics.
Yeah, Doro. I just want to
Harris, if you can hear, please come on screen. But go ahead, Abraham.
Doro, you see, I don't think the pastor or the man of God that said that, I don't think he's a real man of God. I don't think it was God that called him. Maybe that he called God.
Yeah.
No pastor will be able to pray for evil.
Exactly.
For their country wherein they reside in. No pastor. So maybe that bishop or that pastor that he called God, God did not call him. Look, like God was saying, I went to school with most of the CDC, the entire CDC youth chair, the entire youth wing. I went to school, the Emmanuel Johnson, you just name them. The French Safoko just recently, he was in Minnesota here. The man came to my house. From there, I took the man to the base. This is a brother, because me and French Safoko, we came from a very long way. We went to the same high school.
Yeah.
So how can you come and be look, Dodo, I will just leave it at that because
the work we gotta do, we gotta let our people know we are not enemies, having political disagreement. And one thing I love what the Americans do here, what's that thing called? Where they have the ball every year, they make fun of each other, all the political party get in one room. The president's ball, I forget what it's called, and they make fun of what. Yeah, there you go. And the whole point of that is to realize it's not that serious. It should not rise to the occasion where you say you want to harm this person or this person. It's not that serious. The only people that get to that level, that people can make a living outside the government because they believe everything. It is this particular government. Without government, they cannot survive. And that's a dangerous place for a man to be. Harris, if you can hear me, please come up. Come on screen so we can take some call. In the meantime, while Harris is not calling, let's take the international callers first. And then just in case you guys got anything, I know we didn't discuss a lot today. But anything on your mind regarding anything, let's talk about it. And let the people listen to you guys. Yeah, thank you for sticking around.
Taking the civics. Over the last 1 week plus, I've seen the level of civics that have come into the conversation on this show. And it's important. Very important. Yeah. And you see, we're not talking hardcore politics as if it's a do or die affair. It means that we are there for the people on the educational side and on the political side of sensitization. And that's what we need.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you, Bananuga. We'll take our first caller here. Mr. Formula, how are you doing? Oh, hold on 1 second. I have to put it on speaker. There you go.
Hey, people, how you guys doing?
Hey, Hashim. What's going on, bro?
Thank you. People, I see you're talking about Right now, I guess 15 and 16-year-old kids trained like bro. It's all the PS 10, 2024. The DNA did not and said I'm a children. The children have been so real. But what I did, I say support them. And I say carry my duty as the father because they are close to me.
15 and 16, they're already young women.
Yeah, 15 and 16. Because when I came here, 2015, the first one I had, the man died.
So you don't want to raise her?
Yeah. The one that man lived in, she cannot tell me anything. So I just decided to get it to just support them. I swear to God.
I mean, thank you. I mean, that you're cheering in, nobody else.
No, nobody beside me.
Okay. All right, brother. Wow. Yeah, this is a serious thing. There was another guy that fainted in Providence. He fainted at the airport. You're not nailed, but that thing will kill a man. It will kill you. I'm telling you. Color your life and even where you calling from.
Women your children all the time.
Yeah, go I understand, but it's not the thing. You know what you think that your baby here? A serial prior over there. Color your life and even where you calling from. Yo, you did well, Hashim. What?
Yeah, that's
it is a big deal. Yeah, you don't want to be doubting yourself. You doubt yourself as a man entirely. It emasculates you on so many levels.
It's an ego thing.
A lot of people go, I'm telling you, zero D.
And you know, it's even worse when you've not had a kid in your life. Then you kind of realize the two you had are not yours.
Yeah, man.
So, am I the one that is Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Call out your life and where you calling from.
This is Chris calling from Newton.
Your life.
Yeah, we're talking about this DNA people having kids back home and trying to bring them over. I mean, I think happened to a guy that lived near me. The man had 4 kids by this lady. The man fired for the children and he paid his wife here to help him bring the kids, Julia to help him bring the kids. Then they called the guy and told the guy that 2 of the children were his. The wife confessed on the phone that the 2 kids were his best friend kids. Can you imagine that kind of thing to do? The man left all the 4 children there.
Oh.
The man left all 4 there. The man living in my basement.
I mean, it's broken.
He broken. The guy is broken. The guy just living biblical life.
Yeah, my man, it's scary. The man is broken. And women out there, I know we can do our dead end, but the other place, and I'm play. Color your life. I need where you calling from. Hey, Debbie. How you doing, Mama?
Yeah, I just want to throw something in there.
Yeah.
You know, when we were in Ghana, every kid since I go to the police station, my boyfriend myself fought. My boyfriend beats me. My baby father, my baby mom. So one time the Ghanaian, they had something at forum and speaking to the refugee, and he was like, I want to ask you, Liberia, there's no marriage in Liberia? Then we said, why? He said, well, every time it's my baby father, my baby mom, there is no marriage to say my husband or my wife. So this thing happened in fact. It's not even in Liberia alone.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's not only in America here.
Yeah.
I got a case right on my foot that declared she insisted she wanted child support, and it may say, okay, if I would pay the child support, we have to go for DNA. And they went to go do the DNA. The child was not even for the man. Now the child is carrying the man last name. She don't even know who the child father. So these things can happen everywhere. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Yeah. And secondly, I want for our Liberians to know that we have brought drugs in Liberia, and Joseph Boaka is taking the drugs out of Liberia.
Amen. And that's a fact. This is not politics.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
This is not politics. No, we all know Joria as you guys just stated. But hey, the way the country was governed, no, he's not able to govern the country.
Nope.
That's what we're talking about. That's what the Lord love him because he put Africa up there, Liberia, and all that type of thing. Even when when he used to come study in New York, we transfer ourselves from here to go there.
Yep.
To go sit with them, to have dinner, and all that type of thing. But here we're talking about the whole country, Liberia.
Yep. Joey is not fit to manage his own life. He cannot manage a country.
Right.
Yeah.
So we don't hear this division. We all are Liberians, and these pastors that are coming on and saying, "Oh, this the talking the negative things. Sometimes the government needs to invite them so they can that the other one lie, the other time and he said he could wake up miracle from the dead, and he took him to the funeral home there. He could not do nothing. And he was sharing the wall taking back and sat down. If I was in church, I would have packed my Bible and get out of that church. So many people there, they are keep saying these things there, and because there is no sin is made by them, so that they will document it and write it, so that they just get up and say anything they want to say in the country. Put fear in the people. Like, bring all kind of threatening words up in the country. Like, we need to stop this thing. We always say our country is not developed. Look at Ghana, look at this place. How we think this country is going to be developed if a president don't come to ready for your folk down to do what you're doing? How the country going to be developed?
Thank you.
Will it be an angel for heaven to come down and sit down in Liberia and start to develop Liberia? No.
Yeah, and that's why the president don't listen, Mama. That's why the president cannot listen to the noise. Thank you so much. And Doro, you're going to do inspection on our plane. I'm blaming you. Yeah, for me, the DNA testing in Liberia, somebody asked a question. I think if we institute it, it would minimize promiscuity. Maybe the girls would think twice. They would say, you know what, wrong? Maybe my ball will come outside because Liberian people on this we care about. You think now? They will not minimize it?
You will carry my load.
Hey.
The reason that children are born out of wedlock is because they're not usually planned well.
Okay. Yeah, we're live. Yeah, you're live, brother.
I'm calling from Texas.
You're live.
My issue is, I don't know if I said it's on the show right now, but
no, he just left.
He addressed the issue of the Honorable Cole. Always spoken in as if to say he doesn't know about the procedure.
Go ahead.
Oh, tell me. Follow?
Yeah, you're live.
Yes, I'm asking you a question. I'm saying, is there a punishment or what have you? Because the Honorable Man is continuously poking into the affairs of the justice system.
We talking about Melvin Cole?
You can do that as a statement. That is very wrong. And I think we need to come to a place to know that Liberia belongs to everybody. And if we want to see the good country, we should stop playing the devil's advocate. You can sit and make a law, and the next thing, at the end of the day, then you're pushing, you're saying this, you're saying but you don't love Joel more than anybody. You don't love Joel more than Liberia. If Joel have done something, and the government deemed necessary, allow the process to go and start looking into it.
Simple. I think, I don't know if there's a law that makes a lawmaker, in Liberia, everything is politicized. If the government arresting right now, they will tell the government.
And people like that, I think Liberia need to start taking stand up or to stop voting people like that in offices because it's wrong.
It's not that easy, my brother. The way our people, we just need to get somebody, one President Baga move in there. Then you let Dwalu. I face that thing for all. Oh, I get time for them. We solve that problem. All of you go, we're talking there. But I guarantee you my rules. You play with your mouth. Your mouth be talking that problem. We'll take the final call here for tonight. Call her your live.
Don't join me.
Call her your live.
Yes. My name is Patrick.
Patrick, wasn't.
What is on my mind is this. It's about Liberia's civics. If it is still teaching it in the school.
They just started again. I think it just got reinstituted by the Education Ministry.
I mean, it would be a good thing for us, for the kids to know about the civics. They know the governance of the country and know who to follow. And the right to vote as well, to know all these things. But some of them do not. I can remember up to now, or it took a long time. The reason why we have all this stuff that going on right now, if they were teaching it after the war, this woman on this far we saw.
Yeah, I agree, Patrick.
They don't know the rights. They do not know what they want for themselves, neither for the country. So if you do not know these things, you vote in anybody. That what's going on in the house right now. You do not know who really out there for the country. But everyone is there for themselves. So if everyone is for themselves, then where will go? Where will go? Where will the country go? Why other people fighting to see a country or the community ahead? The other people take money in their pocket. For them to build a hand pump, they want for the government to put everything in there, and when they pay the hand pump, they put it in their name.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we need to stop it. Any kind of thing that should be instituted, and now one person should be doing it. Dolo. If our president might begin, I set them a special unit. You will hear that unit. They call it executive search unit, something of that sort. Only BB men you looking for. You're not looking for bad play. I put the men where that one special unit. You be knocking senator and down. That I got a unit. Know what me I'm looking for. Minister and I won't going after. Yeah, that what your unit do every day. I want to be arrested. Once again, man, thank you so much. It was a great show today. And we want to say, man, you're thinking about popping in here. My brother Abraham, your parting statement for the night. And by people back home, we got Foma here, Finn Foma, that was supposed to come in today for the calls, but for some reason, I don't think he's coming on screen. So we're going to let it go. And let's go to my brother Abraham, your parting statement for the night.
Donald, all I want to say that it was a great show. And thank you to our viewers and our followers. You know, Labra is getting better.
Forced to get better.
And we have come to rescue Liberia. The president depends on every one of us. When I'm saying every one of us, every citizen, for you to be able to play your part. As the president is playing his part, let us be law-abiding. Let us be someone, people, let the country look at us differently than we were looked at before. Let the world look at us differently as they used to see us before. Because Liberia is the only country that we have. It's the only country that our naval stream was buried. That is the country that I can never be deported from.
Facts.
So I'm just, this is just to say that let us be law-abiding in our country. When the police, how can you see red light, then you pass through red light? How? But for more shadow dwelling, I will leave it as here. See you guys Monday as we'll see you.
Thank you so much for spending the week with us, Abraham. Have a great weekend. Best to the wife and family out there. What about Nanuga? Your parting statement, sir. Go. I only got one video from you, the last one that you sent, the most recent. Let's give you send me another one. On mute, sir. Thank you, Marcia.
Okay. So, I'll end it on a Friday night like this by wishing Liberians everywhere a wonderful weekend. It cannot be better. Ending a week where we woke up every day healthy, sound, and knowing that we're going to start a weekend and start a new week. For all those who believe, there's a noise somewhere.
I don't know. All right, go ahead.
For all those who believed from the beginning that electing President Joseph Njoman Boakai will make a difference, I'm sure you are proud today.
Yeah.
I'm also sure that all those who sat on the fence and didn't vote, you're proud today. All those who went on the other side, I know some of you are also happy that you see development hitting your doorsteps and that you are actually people who are benefiting too. I just want you to know that there's no one person in any family, and there's no one family that belongs to one political party is shared.
Yep.
So we cannot be enemies. And we cannot take our stones, sticks, and arms for each other. And we cannot try to put this country on fire with our statements and rhetorics. What we must believe in is the growth of Liberia that better generations after us. And if that's the focus, we will know when to align, when to speak truth to power, and when to contribute to development, even if you are in the opposition. Ladies and gentlemen, have a nice weekend.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nanuga, and thanks for spending a little bit of time here with us. Carl, the ball is in your court. What are we talking about today?
We're going back to my historic photos that I wanted to show. So this one is 1974. 74. These are all from 1974. So what is that? 52 years ago. You got them? So while you're pulling the pictures
Oh,
up,
not Carl. Wizzy was up.
yeah, we go through them quickly. My side tired, but I have to remember. So anyway,
Let me see
1974.
the let me share. Go ahead. Go ahead.
1974, the random photos that I got from a book. And so what I did was I sent them to you in order. I hope you show them in order because I then colorized them.
Well, you want to see something.
If you
But
can
go
blow it up.
ahead. Yeah, I'll have to download them, but be talking a little bit. It takes a second.
Okay. So while you're doing that, I wanted to talk about the importance of civics. I saw that the Minister of Education has said she's going to launch civics, and my appeal to the Minister of Education is that you involve Liberians who are educators and historians and Liberians who are also cultural experts to put the civics curriculum together. This is not something that we should play around with. And I know that you're very serious about this, but I think it's important that we draw upon the scholars that we have in Liberia and the diaspora, bring them together to come up with a civic curriculum. Civics is very political, and it's also a matter of national security. The way people identify themselves, the way people are taught to think about their country and their fellow citizens. The civics curriculum should have elements of anti-tribalism. The civics curriculum should have the history, the corrected narrative, not the narrative that has been fed to us, but the Liberian perspective narrative, the perspective from the people of Liberia themselves, not from the generations later that tried to go back and retrospectively change the story to match the rigid tribal and bigoted boxes that they put themselves into generations later. All of those things need to be examined, Madam Minister. And so I respectfully appeal to you to reach out to those scholars, Patrick Burroughs, the Dr. Elwood Dunn, um, our national orator, and Dr. Brewer, Robtel Paley. There are so many people that can contribute to this. It has to be a call to action for all of our scholars around the world to come together and do their part in building a civics curriculum to build the minds of our future citizens. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know what you think about it, Dwalu, but it's something that's been, really weighing on my heart, and I just wanted to, put that out there.
I agree. I agree
And there's many
wholeheartedly.
others that I did name, but those are the scholars whose names that popped into my head. Dr. Bill Allen at the University of Liberia also. But there's we have good people. Jacine Carr, a lot of good people. Elijah Zay, your cousin.
Yeah.
We got a lot of good people. So the pictures I'm showing you from 1974 again are from a book titled Liberia. It was basically a cultural book that was supposed to kind of educate people, or magazine really more so than a book, educate people about Liberia and tourism. This is a group of students who are fixing a door panel. I think I've shown this one before, but
No,
why
I don't think we have. Not this
oh,
one.
all right, so they're fixing the door panel, and if you see that they've got in their hands, it's like a varnish that they're
Oh,
varnishing the wood. They finished carving the wood, now they're varnishing. It's absolutely beautiful. My dream one day when I build my dream house in Liberia is that these door panels will be all, this will be my front door panels and stuff will look
wow.
like. But look at that.
And
Look
this
at
is done with
and,
hand
and
from scratch.
yeah, this is made with a piece of log, and they carved out the scene. If you look on the wall, there's that other
Uh-huh.
beautiful wall hanging. I mean, portrait carving hanging on the wall. I don't know why I'm tired. Sorry, but yeah. So this is beautiful. 1974, 1952 years ago. Um, we need to bring these things back to the schools. This kind of, and the thing is, when you do these kinds of things in schools, you're doing two things. One, you're teaching young people how to do, these kinds of crafts. And this is something that people can use to survive. And they also used to do this and raise money for the schools. So
Raise
you
money
see
for the
this
schools.
beautiful wood carving, you sell it, that's money for the school.
I mean, that door panel can go for $500 easy. Literally
And much
$500.
more than that here in the States. Much
Yeah,
more.
much more here. Yeah.
But yeah, in Liberia, easily that door panel can be, so that's ways for schools. This is in Nimba, in Ganta, I believe, and this is a masked dancer. What y'all call it? Double.
Good devil.
But he's our stilt walker, and so
They're
I
still
color.
workers, yeah.
Actually, no, I think this is Monrovia.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
because I see
other.
the ocean in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Monrovia because the other one is from Ganta. We'll get to that. This is from Monrovia, but look at how tall they were. I always say this thing: y'all not get shot. Y'all who
I
doing
know,
this
right?
still walking now.
These
Y'all
things look at least 10 feet or more, probably.
you guys, when I look at the older pictures and videos, they used to be very tall. There's another one when Tubman and Nkrumah and Amate Couture went to Sanakole. The guys who were dancing on the stills were so tall; they were almost as tall as the two-story building there at Sanakole. The administrative building. They were almost as tall as the building. It was crazy, and I was like, did I get short though?
Yeah,
Anyway,
sure. And this one is
and look at the xylophone. I don't know what our traditional
I've
names.
not seen this ever in Liberia.
Really, we have these in Lofa. Well, you probably from the coast.
I've not seen this in Liberia.
The coast. We have these. We still make these in the mountains. And now it's colorized. And here's this very handsome. So this is supposed to be, this was 3 generations.
Yeah, you can see it.
3 generations. You've got the grandfather, the father, and the 2 sons. And they have the little things for the xylophone.
Yeah.
And this is a traditional, very ancient African instrument. You see it in even ancient Egypt, ancient Nubia, all over West Africa. It's a very ancient African instrument.
Okay, and we got this.
Yes.
So which building is this? It looks like the museum.
It's CWA.
CWA? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
College of West Africa.
Okay, I'm gonna be on board. Okay. It is here there. Quite a beautiful school.
This is CWA 1974. So Mayor Brawl had already left when this picture was taken. President Boycott had already left when this photo was taken, but this is CWA, College of West Africa, 1974. It was look at the it's amazing. Look at the flag.
Yeah.
And you see the very dark blue there, Dwalu. Even
I see the indigo blue.
I knew that was dark. So,
okay, and this one.
These are 2 of the representatives before. I mean, from the 2 of the representatives. Actually, this is a few representatives. The 2 men in the traditional clothing are 2 representatives. I don't know what their names are, but I do have pictures of representatives from 1944. Some of those guys stayed in there so long. I don't know their names, unfortunately, but I just thought it was nice. They're there. Railroad workers. So Dwalu, what's the first thing that stands out to you when you see this?
It looks like all Liberians doing it. I mean, that's about it. It seems like all Liberian tradesmen.
They're definitely all Liberians. They are all Liberians, and we have to get back to this thing where we make sure that the people who are doing the work of building our country, that we're employing our people to do this work. We have to go
skills
back.
They can learn it.
Yeah. And labor skills are not that difficult to transfer.
Nope.
That technology transfer is not that difficult.
Not at all.
We have to do better.
We got to do better. I mean, the vocational schools, and I mean, we got to do better. We just have to do better.
So culture dancers, these are Gola girls.
See this one? And I love the way the color looked.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice, yeah. And then we've seen this one before, and I just love the story behind this one. At the beginning of the free pour, you said, right? Where
Report.
I mean, this basic dock can be literally placed along the coast of almost everywhere to have a fishing outfit. I mean, because it's straight concrete and the ship just come in, you dredge a little location and you'll be fine. I mean, the last time I saw Sano Port, I mean, the old ships there, you need to invest some money in there. It's a great location to supply the southeastern region.
Ports are economics. It's the same
Yeah.
reason we have all the airlines in the world coming to like Europe because
Yeah.
our population. We have to be realistic. But I think that Sino ports, I've always said this, and this is something I've studied since I've worked in the maritime sector. We have to diversify the uses of our ports. And also because we have such a long coastline, we need to have transportation vessels
Along that coast.
and also tourism. I wish Chris was on. Sino used to be an export port for bananas. We talked about
That's what
that.
you said. Yeah.
Ecotourism, coastal ecotourism, and forest ecotourism connect at Sino. Sino Port could be a place where you set it up for these coastal tours. You dock, there should be hotels, there should be tour vehicles that can take people into the Sapo forest.
Yeah.
There's ecotourism. That is what it shouldn't be. Oh, we're gonna get a port and we're gonna bring goods. It economically it doesn't, right? It doesn't make sense. We cannot have 4 main ports on our coast because we have less than 6 million people. It just is nobody's. The truth is, most of this stuff they're doing is political. But to be practical and to really create jobs in the area, you have to have a plan that's beyond. I want port. I want port. What is the purpose of the port?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to bring a gas tanker to Sino. There's not enough of a population, but we can take tourists to Sino, and the population of Sino can be trained in hospitality, hotels, logistics, create all of the bustle and the jobs, ecotourism, teach people about the forest so that they can be guides. That is going to create economic activity around the area. You can also tap into agriculture, and it can be an agricultural export port as it originally was designed to be as well. There are so many things. But when I think Sino, I'm thinking about our pygmy hippopotamuses. I'm thinking all of our endangered elephants. I'm thinking our wonderful Sapo Park is right there. There are so many things we can do with that port. And
There'll be so many things. And in fact, one of the things I'm even considering that port, I was speaking with Isaac, and we these boats that you just showed, we're seeing several. The big one in the back over there, they're going for around $500,000. It's literally nothing. And when I was in Zanzibar, one thing I noticed the entire island is they have these boats you can go into Dar es Salaam, so they go back and forth. They got these ferries. Some of the ferries, I was talking to the captain. He said, "Oh, we bought these for like 700,000, but they're luxurious. They got 2 floors, so if you pay your ticket, you go up top. Then they have the regular people down. So imagine you're going along the coast to purchase that. You can take goods. They have the bay underneath. So we are really looking into that through the Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund because you can capture the market in the southeast without having to use the road. We can use that. People can go to the southeast by boat. If you don't want to go by boat, we can have a storage facility. Yeah.
People can fly into Monrovia. They can go to Marshall, get on a boat at Marshall.
Yep.
And go straight to Sapo.
So straight to Sapo on the boats.
So many things. Go straight to Marshall, straight to Sapo. You don't even have to go to Monrovia.
Nope, you don't have to go to Monrovia.
So
and it's not far.
And what I've always said is because it's ecotourism and it's pristine ecotourism, this is a high-end market. This is not like
very high-end market.
This is not like Nimba Ecolodge. This is like $1 billion business we're talking about. This is what millionaires would want to go to. And if you look at what they're doing in South Africa with the rail tour, which I've done, it's extremely expensive. You get on that train. I'm like, this Liberia can do better than this with the boats and our waterways. And let me tell y'all something that y'all listening. Liberia's coastline is, I mean, it's one of the most beautiful visions that God has ever created. We're playing with we're playing around with our country.
Leaving money on the table. Yeah.
Because we keep empowering people that don't think about anything but their stomachs.
Yeah. Yeah.
We keep empowering people that do not even have an imagination.
Massive vision.
Beyond, they're going to talk to people, tell them what do they want so I can get reelected. We have to start talking about how are we going to elevate our country and put our country in a position where these pristine places can be preserved. We're not looking at transshipment and destroying the environments in these places. We're looking at keeping them because they're more valuable intact than destroyed. This is why I'm so angry about this logging and deforestation. We are playing around. It's when you're ignorant and you don't know what you have, you will sell it for little of nothing. Those trees are more valuable intact than they are
10 times
as
more
coal or
valuable.
logs. People pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to go on eco tours in places like Brazil and in East Africa. Hundreds of thousands. I'm not talking about the regular safaris that the rest of us go on. I'm
Correct.
talking about real
Yeah.
eco tours. They're extremely expensive, and it's because they're taking them to pristine places off the beaten path. People
That's what
pay
they want to
top
see.
dollar for those experiences. We are
I think
playing
people.
around. We're playing around, and it's like, like
I watched a documentary yesterday from Rwanda, the gorillas, right? So, they were talking just to go get on that safari to be escorted is $1,500, and the tourists have to wait in line because they don't have enough. They got certain amount of guards that can go see the gorillas. Every day, according to the commentary, they're making anywhere from 200,000-300,000 because you're sleeping there, you're eating the food. The tourists come, they go see the gorillas.
The food.
The food.
I took that trip in South Africa, the food, Dwalu. All of these things we can do. We can do these things. Archie Soni says your heart cannot desire what your eyes have not seen, and this is the truth.
It's the truth.
You put people in positions whose eyes have not seen anything, so they can't desire things that they haven't seen. And when we say that there's some value that people that have seen things have to offer, they get angry.
They get angry, and it's the same. It's not about knowing everything because you see, look, Cole, we flew from Dar es Salaam into this small town in Tanzania. We had to charter a flight because we're four of them, my wife and I and another couple. We had to charter a 4-seater flight. That's into the tourism budget. It flies us into this park. We had to pay 1,000 a piece. You have to go see lion. My wife wants to touch the lion. I'm like, you're crazy. But now I got to stand next to her. I had it on my Facebook page. So these zebras and lion, just to spend 4 hours is $1,000. Not the food, that I drink, that I nothing. And then we got to pay that charter flight back into. So you got to charter the flight, and the flight got to wait for you. I think we pay like $3,000 per couple just to go back and forth. And that's money into the local economy.
And we have all these little airfields all around the place that we can revive. Some of these things we got helicopter potential. I mean, so many things. But let's look at our coastal waterways. Let's look at Sino. Let's look at things. And I know tourism in these directions. I've had conversations with Chris. Very innovative, but it's so important to utilize these ports for what they're intended for. Even the same thing with Harper. We've got to utilize these things and really see where is the money. And I'm not saying using them for transshipment of drugs. That's not good money. We can make good money. We don't have to decentralize so we can do bad things. We can decentralize and do good things. And build the economies around and longevity, long term.
Long term.
These kinds of investments are for time indefinite. Nobody's going to ever get tired of green spaces because they're disappearing around the world so quickly.
People want to see
Let's
them.
hold on to what we have before it's gone.
Yeah, it is what it is. I think Zanzibar is probably smaller than Grand Cru.
And you ain't got to dig.
Grand Cru, but they got more budget than Liberia.
Yeah, you got to dig the southeast out of a trash heap, like Slipway, right? You go into at least back when I was in Liberia, when I worked for land commission back then, when we went into those places, pristine. It was like Jurassic Park. Dwalu, that's the only
like Jurassic Park.
I had. It was like Jurassic Park.
That's what people really want. They want to get away.
Yeah.
They want to get away. And the funny thing is, we're sitting at the airport in Zanzibar. The airport, in fact, Zanzibar is smaller than Grand Cru County, but the airport is 10 times better than whatever we have at our international airport. The entire budget of Zanzibar is bigger than the whole of Liberia budget by far. And a small island is nothing but tourism.
Because
the entire thing is tourism. Yeah.
And
they got to fly.
This is what our whole Southeast. Listen, and the place is depopulated. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. It's the most.
People don't want to talk it.
I'm from Nimbao. I'm from the mountains, so the mountains are beautiful. But there's that place where y'all be able to two people abandoned is a gem.
Look at Hopper. When you see Hopper, you know automatically it's a gem.
All
How do we
those
get
places.
money to go there?
And you know what it really gets to me? They're allowing Chinese people to just destroy stuff. They're just digging big holes all over the place. They're looking for minerals. What's happening to us? Liberia.
When you talk it, they say, oh, that book we eat. Yes, literally. It's not about book. It's about, that's why I get a little bit angry at times. You cannot just hold a position that you cannot produce. They give you a mandate. You have to strategize within what you have and deliver a vision.
Yes.
I know the money's small, but you can stretch your money in ways that, because certain operation, look, if you see the South, I was just saying that inside about going, holy cow, and go, you see the bit, everything that business. Tourists coming from Europe everywhere.
Duago, I drove on roads where people don't really pass. They were old roads that loggers used to use. So human beings don't really pass their occasional motorbike, right?
Yeah, occasional.
Monkeys and all kinds, and they're not scared of human being. They will be looking at a car like, what's he passing so?
They're curious.
We've got wildlife in that country. Places where human beings are not there, they like to hang out. They're safe there. Because people know town around there. So when we're serving all the public lands and that in Liberia, when you're passing through some of those places, Dwalu, the animals can be checking you out, you checking them out. It's so amazing.
Was it in Grand Crew that Iraq had a human footprint that's thousands of years old? Was it in Grand Crew or somewhere in Samo?
It's on a beach. I'm not sure, but anyway, they found out it wasn't actually a human footprint. It's a different type of impression, and it ended up it wasn't actually a human footprint.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, they call it a footprint of Jesus. It actually isn't a human footprint at all. It turned out when they went in, I looked up into it because I thought it was a footprint, but they did. Scientists did go there and check it out, and it turns out it's just a natural formation that somewhat resembles a foot, but it's not a foot.
Footprint.
It would have been cool.
All right, have a great day. I mean, the country is still virgin, and how we capitalize on it is a decision that we have to make as a nation, because we can't continue to talk about this while this generation fades away. Something got to get done. Like you said, I remember the very first time I laid eyes on you. I didn't know you then. It was at GSA. The scene tenacity you had now, all that strength now, you're a little bit older, you give me getting on board or bouncy or so the point I'm trying to make, we are getting weaker, so we have to find a way to see how we can translate that forward.
Yeah, man, that's why I always say to our people, say, oh, call you to go work for government. I give the best years of my life to that country. Leave me alone.
Best years,
The best years.
Because that time frame, I mean, it was up and down. You can deal with the stress. You can deal with a lot of things. You deal where you had your kids in the country and everything. I'm like, holy cow. That was a whole nother level.
And Dwala, let me tell you something. I got elephant and crocodile hide on top of each other as for skin. That didn't face me.
The guy would have been thinking 15
if I tell you
times.
the things that I passed through, I don't know where I got it from. I can just be looking. I think when you see the bigger picture,
yeah,
and you're doing things, activism. When you see activism, there's two kinds of activism. Really quick before we go, you either do things out of love, or you're motivated by hatred.
That's it.
When you're motivated by love, courage is boundless.
Automatic. Yeah.
Boundless courage. Love makes you courageous.
It does.
And so there's nothing. Love will drive a woman to run into a burning building to pull her baby outside. You can't do that kind of thing for hatred. Hatred doesn't have that kind of motivation. Nope. So the reason we will win is because the thing that motivates us is more powerful than the things that motivate them.
Amen. Amen.
That's the reason we're winning. And that's the reason we'll continue to win. And that's the reason President Boykai will win, because he is being motivated by extreme love. And there's no power greater than that. No power.
None. None whatsoever. Though, it's always a pleasure to spend time here with you. And to our audience, may you have a great weekend. And Liberia will continue to go in front. Yo, thank you for popping in here with us.
Yeah, Liberia developing. This is the Class Reloaded, the #1 online show that brings the truth. Showcasing J&B and JKK progress all across the country.
The Class Reloaded, we are online every day. Showcasing progress the Liberian way.
Well,
JMB and JKK, they're making the way. The Class Reloaded, we're shining today.
From